All right, welcome back to another episode of the Played Up Podcast.
Woo!
This time we're having a special edition about Death by Arcade, which was held Easter weekend, yeah.
Yes.
Saturday 9 a.m. to Sunday 9 a.m. Long haul, 24-hour, crazy arcade event. It was and console, yeah. Loads of fun. So tonight we have with us, as always, Dennis. How you doing, mate?
Hey, Mike. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Lovely.
We also have the main man behind Death by Arcade, Dr. Aaron Raynor.
Dr. Aaron Raynor, and friend of the show.
Am I a doctor?
How are you, mate?
Is he?
G'day, everyone. How are we?
Lovely. Thanks, mate.
Bloody great. We've also got the Johns. John McIntyre, how are you, bud?
Awesome, mate. Happy to be here.
Good to see you, sir.
Great to have you on. And Mr. John Tannahill, how are you, mate?
Not bad.
Oh, that's good.
How many words that Tannahill fella?
Not bad. Yeah, just won a couple of gold and silver medals rowing, but yeah, not bad, you know.
Yeah,
Good
a bit
day.
tired, like, you know.
Yep, just living the winning life is our John.
I thought about saying something witty, but nothing came to me, and so you got that was the best I had. Yeah.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you know John Tannahill is genuinely tired and exhausted.
Very much.
Yeah.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Crikey, you must be tired.
Yeah, I'm actually more tired now after 2 days of racing than I was actually during the Death by Arcade. As you guys all probably understood when it was like 4 a.m. and you guys just want to kill me because I'm still bouncing off the walls.
We have video evidence of that. So, as a follow-on to what Mikey's just mentioned tonight, or in this episode, we'll be going through the event and giving all of our listeners in podcast land a breakdown of what happened, and we'll discuss all of our experiences
in real time too,
as we saw it, and we'll go through a few videos that we took here and there through the event, and step you through it. Should be a bit of fun. So I guess I was interested to talk to everybody about maybe the lead up and what you guys do to get prepared for an event like 24-hour video gaming event where you're on your feet for a whole day, like a 24-hour stretch. It was my first, and it was, I think that I grossly underestimated just how sore and tired I was going to be by the end of it. Guys, put it out to the group. What do you do to get prepared for an event like that? John McIntyre, John M, would you like to kick us off, mate?
I would. Well, I was actually literally about to say that really I'm in the same boat as you, Dennis. So for me, that was my first ever, as in my life, ever 24-hour gaming event of any description, be it arcade, be it PC, you name it, but be it board games. I have never done anything like that for a 24-hour period. So I was ill prepared, to say the least. I beyond excited, and with all the adrenaline rushing leading up to the day, trying to get a good night's sleep the night before was actually a challenge, because I was already buzzing just waiting for that 9 a.m. to come around. So I'm actually in the same boat as you. I was not at all prepared for how sore my lower back for me was going to get. The soles of my feet were starting to scream at me towards the end, but really for me, I'm a bit of an old man back-wise, so my lower back was absolutely throbbing by the time 24 hours was up. But Mike and Aaron, and JT, I don't know how many of these you guys have done previously in previous years, so maybe you guys should give us a bit of an idea of, as veterans, so to speak.
Definitely.
You've been there, you've been through the initial pain of that first one, whenever that was. How does someone who's already experienced it go, okay, I know I've got to do X, Y, Z leading up to the next one?
That's a hell of a lead up, man. Well done.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, start with Tannahill. Did you do the One Up Arcade lock-in when it was a few years back?
No, I didn't do that.
Okay. But you've done a Death by Pinball, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I've done 2 Death by Pinballs.
Oh, shit, too.
Was it 2018 and 2019? So, which was, that was the second and third ones that they'd done. So missed the first, wasn't into pinball the first time, and then second one, that was actually my first ever pinball event was Death by Pinball.
Troll by fire.
Pretty much, right? I was going like,
Yeah.
I kind of like pinball, so I'm going to
I
play.
kind of like
24
pinball.
I
hours.
might
I'm gonna
punish
play
myself
for
by playing it
24
24 hours.
Yeah, and I just had a wisdom tooth, not wisdom tooth, a molar pulled out the day before, and so my face is still half swollen from having this tooth out for my first Death by Pinball.
Right.
But yeah, this was my third 24-hour one, and not that I have much first-hand experience of this, but I kind of assume it's kind of like having your third kid, right? You're really anxious about the first one, and you try and do everything right. You have to plan it out. The second one, like you've learned from the first one, like you really want to do it right. And then the third one, like it just sort of walks out. Like you just go, okay, just going to do it.
I hope it does.
I often refer to the whole sort of kids thing, just because it's a good analogy. Is your first kid eats dirt, you rush them to you rush them to accident and emergency. Your second kid eats dirt, you clean their mouth out, tell them not to do it again. Your third kid eats dirt, you wonder if you got to give them lunch.
Yeah, so
it must hold true for events as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it definitely that holds water for me, man. My first, because it was my first, and I was packing it. I was nervous about the whole thing.
Yeah, so I wore my. Everyone says make sure you wear comfy shoes, so I wore my pair of shoes with the thinnest soles possible. I had a pair of jeans, 2 shirts. One was long sleeve though, in case it got chilly. And I arrived and then went out and picked up some snacks from the 7-Eleven because I hadn't prepared anything like that.
Oh, good idea.
Didn't go for the energy drinks this year. Just had a pack of Nodos, so I just
pounded those.
I just popped 2 caffeine pills. 200 milligrams of caffeine. That's right. I was actually kind of surprised myself with I handled it this time. Like pinball is different. Pinball, my wrists were killing by the end of pinball because I was just slapping the machines so much, and so the tendons were sore. Whereas this time, I found my neck gets tense, and I found like I had a bit of a headache and really tense neck around the evening time though, around like between 6 to 9 p.m. And then it actually got better, and then I had a pretty clean run through the rest of the event. I even said to Jimmy, it's just after 4 a.m. and it's when a lot of people start to get tired. I said to Jimmy, "This is the time I usually wake up. Like I'm actually golden here. 4 a.m. is my time of morning."
Wow,
what the fuck is wrong with you?
That's
4
crazy.
a.m.
Yeah. I gotta say that really is quite funny. The fact that at 4 a.m., JT, you were literally, bunny hopping off the walls and just, ready to go. Whereas Dennis, I think if you'd said gyrus to him one more time, he was ready to get an AK-47 out and just unleash.
We can't
put it this way. I was actually
do that.
in talking with Dennis at the sort of 3 to 5 a.m. mark. I was fearful for my life. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Those are exactly the hours I can't remember as well. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. No, I do agree with you there, Aaron. I think
it must have been an alter ego that kicked in.
Yeah.
Well, I remember at that time the 3 people I was trying to avoid were Dennis, Neil, and Aaron, because all 3 of you just not. Yeah, not
No,
in a
I
good,
was.
good place.
I had
think-
photos of Neil at 5 a. Wait, no, it was at 8 a.m. with him and Mike behind. I think Burger Time.
That's a
And
great photo.
The photo,
No,
and I'll put that
that's
photo
fun.
up while in the podcast. So, guys, if you are listening on just audio for the podcast, make sure that you go to YouTube and just check out the videos that we put up and some of the photos, because I think a picture probably tells more than 1,000 words
Oh yes,
for Daddy Neil, on
especially
that one.
with Neil cans.
Yeah, I can't
Great.
remember. I can't remember who it was, but someone. I think I was with Jimmy, and I can't remember who it was, but someone just turned and goes, "Crikey, Aaron's got the 1,000-yard stare at the moment," and I was
That
like,
was
"Yeah."
me, I said that.
I was like, "You." Oh man, I was. Yeah.
Wow.
I think, Mike, if you don't mind talking about it first, because I suppose I've got a bit more of a story behind the whole Death by Arcade thing, so maybe I should go last.
I was
sure.
actually going to ask you guys, now that you mention it, that coming into this year's Death by Arcade, obviously last year's event wasn't able to go ahead, but you guys did do a stream for the event, which was fantastic, and a lot of us got to tune into and spent a little bit of time on the stream, which was great. How was the experience with doing the event for just both of yourselves there compared to the experience that you went through with everybody around? Was it more difficult, or was it actually easier with everyone, or just different?
For me, just doing it with us two, it was a lot easier, a lot more relaxing.
For real.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, please go on. No, go.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm going to readjust myself here. Sorry.
Well, not to bring too much of a negative to my experience, but towards the end of the night, particularly after midnight, I starting to have trouble with my anxiety, and I couldn't really eat properly. So some of you know that I have issues with my anxiety early days, and it's fairly much gone now. But it does affect me if I'm hungover or if I'm super tired. And so I had a plan. So my preparation was pretty solid, and I had all this food, and I was drinks and everything sorted out. The deodorant, change of clothes, the wet wipes just in case,
We're gonna talk about the 12-hour shower.
Yeah, it didn't even happen. I didn't get as sweaty as I thought I would. Didn't need them, but yeah. Anyway,
because you don't wear sleeves, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
It's still so
That is not true. In the last part of the event, Mike had
He
a
stank.
real
I know.
shirt
He
on.
stank.
Real shit.
Sorry, go on, Mike.
But yeah,
we were all just standing around there. So I was going, God, if only Mike used those wet wipes. God damn.
But no, comparing to that first run that me and Aaron did last year, and then this one, it's with the additional people around that made me feel more anxious. And because normally I wouldn't be like that, but just because I was super tired and I was trying to force myself to keep that food and drink intake happening, food and hydration intake happening, and I couldn't do it. So that sort of fucked me up a little bit, and I got tired of and just.
I would have given you 3 no-dos, and that would have that much caffeine would sort your anxiety.
Yeah, that'd be fine for your anxiety, having that much caffeine. It would have been great.
I could have given you some meth. We would have been fine, bro.
But yeah,
Dr. Aaron.
And caffeine has a similar effect on my anxiety. It'll force it to be worse. I can't touch caffeine if I'm starting to feel a bit weird or odd. But yeah, so the preparation was good. That was all good. And then, just after midnight, I started not crash, just not, I don't know. Yeah, I started to struggle a bit, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, all the preparation was good. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Everything else worked out.
Well, it's sort of, it's interesting you talk about that kind of anxiety, and I'm sorry to kind of hijack the podcast.
That's all right, man.
This, but
it's unusual for you, but we'll
5 million viewers, baby. Anyway, the whole Death by Arcade thing came about from sort of. So, for those who don't know, I've had massive issues with mental health. I've been hospitalized a few times, and sectioned and everything, and everything's gone really well now. And I think anyone who knows me on a bit more of a personal level knows I'm a big advocate for talking about these type of things, especially young blokes, because I think maybe we don't do a good job at explaining ourselves and how we feel. And good on you, Mike, for talking about being anxious towards the end of it, because I was definitely feeling it as well.
And again, Aaron, saying that, I didn't mention it to anyone on the night because I was ashamed. I was ashamed of it. I was like, I feel sick and I can't eat because of my brain.
No, you turn it. Fuck, man, I'm feeling anxious around everyone. That's all right, mate. No dramas. Go. You shouldn't. You know what? Never.
I know. It's weird.
Ever, and especially amongst family, which is what we. Oh, Mr. Neil Cairns just rocking up, is he?
Look who's on fucking government time.
Wow! Look, yeah. Well, anyway,
jeez.
It's
clean shaven.
Oh God! I won't say what I was about to say.
Baby smooth.
Yeah. But the whole Death by Arcade thing came about. In August, I think so it was around the Eka Kong off. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3. Up until very recently, like I like my arcade games, but I've never been massively involved or anything like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get to hang around with some friends. And I don't think I was on Facebook even at the time. And Mike actually used to text message me, old speak, about events that were coming up. Hey, you should come along to this because he knew I wasn't on Facebook and stuff. And I think I ended up joining Facebook just so I could message Netherworld and say, hey, listen, wasn't able to buy tickets because I was supposed to be overseas. That's been cancelled. Any chance I could buy one? And Jimmy actually opened up ticket sales for like a 10-minute period so that I could buy a ticket.
Sick.
And then closed it
Awesome.
again. Oh, dude, I'd give that man a kidney. Not my kidney, a kidney.
Someone else's kidney, yeah.
But and I went along and it was great and I had a good chat and I had interesting conversations with people and how have you been? And I was a bit more not as candid as I normally am, but I told a couple of people, and I'll be honest, I can't remember who the people were, and I'm not going to name names either. But a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, I've been there, and I've not been great at times," and it was actually really very comforting and very sort of that sort of shame that Mike you were just talking about was kind of lifted from me a little bit.
It's not stigmatized as much once you actually realize that you aren't alone when it comes to that. And I think that's very important to mention, Aaron. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually had a chat with Tyson during the Kong off, and he said, mate, you should chat with Jimmy. And I didn't know Jimmy too well at the time. He says, you should chat with Jimmy. He's, him and Ben are really, really into supporting charities and yada, yada, yada. And then I had a chat and I was like, we should do some sort of event. And I can't remember who mentioned it. I think it was Jimmy said, will we do a 24-hour pinball event? Why not tag a 24-hour arcade event and we'll do something. And then COVID happened. So we obviously couldn't. And that's one of the reasons I ended up doing the 24-hour Donkey Kong event, because it was like, I need to scratch this itch. But we now have maybe the singular person doing the arcade event and also now the big event where everyone can get along, and it's awesome. But in terms of preparing for it, it was difficult for me this time around because I was actually having to organize crap, and that was kind of Aaron, how do we do this? How do we do that? What's this? What's happening there? And I've obviously learned a lot doing the event, but towards the I'm not even gonna lie. It got to about the 3 or 4 a.m. mark, and I'm like, I'm gonna go home. I can't. I was, I thought I was prepared because, like I said, I'd done the 24-hour event with Mike. I did the 24-hour Donkey Kong thing, which raised money for Headspace, and I thought, I've got a good idea. But organizing an event and participating in an event, very difficult. So I think I'm going to have to delegate a bit next year.
Aaron, if you don't mind, Aaron, I've actually been thinking about this, and I'd like to segue off of what you just said a second ago.
Please don't.
Oh no, I got it, because it really did occur to me after the 24-hour event that that was a huge undertaking for you to organize and run something for a 24-hour period.
Mm.
You know, once a month, little old me runs an event that goes for 3 hours, maybe. You know, and it feels, and it's fun, and I love doing it and all that. But when I think, holy crap, 9 a.m. to 9 a.m., you know, for one man to be into, oh yeah, what's happening, when's it happening, what's happening, you know, and all that stuff for a 24-hour period, dude. One, I take my hat off to you, genuinely. Two, I want to put my hand up and say, mate, we're here to help you.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
please, on the next one,
and
leverage office.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think so. I had Mike and Neil. So originally, Sean, who's unfortunately not with us because apparently he's entertaining friends. He was heavily involved in the sort of inception of it. And I think next time I'll realize that, hey, listen, I'm going to need a bit more help. But I didn't want to. So Mike and Neil were kind of the other parties that were heavily involved, and I kind of wanted them to enjoy the event as opposed to helping me out. But we learned a lot, I think, doing the event, and we learned what works, we learned what didn't. So I think next one around is going to be even better as a result. We've got some good ideas.
One thing that we're doing, well, I'm organising, which will be coming out probably next week, is a survey for the people who are part of the event.
Nice.
Just to get some feedback from the people who were there. So hopefully they'll open up some ideas of games and competitions that we may not have thought about when we first created it. So hopefully something comes from that as well. So
that's a bloody good idea.
Awesome.
My dog just come in. Sorry, come here.
Hey.
Yeah. Y'all aren't the only one. Come here.
I'm going to duck out and have dinner, and then I'll try and jump back on when I can.
No sweat.
No worries,
mate.
All right. See you soon.
See you soon, mate.
Yeah.
So what I had in mind to run through with you good folks tonight was to pop in a few videos for us to have a look at that just a few seconds here and there of footage that I took during the event.
No, I'm going to need to speak to my lawyers, Dennis.
Okay, well, once you get it cleared, we'll, I was hoping we could just have a quick glance at a couple of videos there and just maybe have a chat about where everyone was at and start stepping our way through the event. And it'll also give everybody who's either watching or listening a good chance to just get an idea of the atmosphere and what was going on. And yeah, so I'll take us through the one from 9 a.m. when we just started. 8:05. There we go. That should be 9 a.m. there. Do you guys see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Right on.
Everyone's just started. We don't know what's going on exactly, but all the pinball guys, there's like 40 pinball people and maybe 10 arcade people.
Yeah, I'll explain that in a sec.
And everything's underway.
That was us just rolling for the start of the event. I think when I rocked up at 9 a.m., I think I rolled in just as everyone was starting to head up to the stage for the event to start. And I think all the pinball guys were all there ready to rock and roll. And that was covered off, I think, because they had, I think it's like the 5th Death by Pinball or something like that. Or was it 6th or 5th? So they had, Jimmy had everyone set up and ready to rock and roll, and and we kicked that. And then after that, we then, just because it was shoulder to shoulder in the back room. And so once everybody cleared out, we had a chance to get ourselves organized, which was good. So yeah, it was the space in between. Once everybody started filing out, I was like, it's a chance to take a video. So I had to flick around and like, I'm not sure what we're doing yet, but
you and me both, brother.
Oh, really?
No.
I thought you did rather well.
No. I think I've not run an event before, so I mean, I spent a lot of time sort of prepping for it, and so again, for those who are maybe unfamiliar, used match play, which is I think traditionally used for pinball events, but obviously that translates quite well to arcade events. And
Yeah.
I hadn't used it before, but I went through I think a few days prior and set up all the events, but the very first one I set up incorrectly. So we were trying. So I can't remember off the top of my head, but essentially what the first event was supposed to be was a frenzy where it's you and an opponent go head to head on a game for X number of minutes, and whoever gets the best score wins. And what I had actually done is I think I'd set it up as a head to head. So the way head to heads work is a bit different than frenzies. So yeah, I think John got pretty upset because he beat Peter High.
Peter High.
Peter
Yes.
High, sorry.
I was going to mention that in this chat.
I still owe you a beer, bro. Oh, actually, I bought you a ginger beer. Bugger off. I've paid my debt.
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, so that was a bit. I was a bit. I won't say saddened, but it was like, oh crap.
Oh.
But yeah, so I unfortunately buggered up the very, very first one. And I don't
Wouldn't have
think
noticed
John...
if you didn't say anything.
Oh well, I mean, I think
I
John
did.
would. Yeah, there we go. So I think maybe yeah. So that was a bit sort of.
It was literally my first thing, my name getting called up for literally the first thing, and it was John McIntyre and Peter High on Mortal Kombat 2. I was like, oh yeah, let's kick this off, baby. And there's only so many things in this world that make me feel warm and fuzzy.
MK2 is one of them.
One of them is MK2. The other one is beating Peter High at Mortal Kombat 2, because that really is a feeling of accomplishment. You don't feel like you've just beaten someone. You feel like, holy crap, I'm a god. I've just beaten Peter High at at any fighting game. So for me to kick this 24-hour event off with a victory on Peter High at Mortal Kombat 2,
well,
I just felt like king of the world.
Alleged.
Yes.
G'day, Peter, as well, by the way.
Yes, hello,
Friend of the
Peter. When you
G'day, Peter.
This, yes, I'll make sure Peter watches this later.
You should have packed your bag, John. You should have just walked out and just taken it.
I'm done.
Yeah, I should have just flipped a cab and I was gone, because Aaron came up to me feeling very guilty. And he said to me, I'm so sorry, but XYZ, and we've got to start this all off again. And I just crumbled. I thought, oh my God, that victory does not count officially.
Oh, well.
You'll always remember it, man. You'll always remember it.
That's
always
it. There
remember
you
it.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
Memories were made.
That's exactly.
But yeah, so we had a couple of little hiccups at the start, but once we got going, I think it went well, and we had
it was amazing.
Yeah, so there was Blake, who I wasn't familiar with, and then there was another person there. I forget her name.
V.
Thank you. Yeah, who I'd
never met her before either.
No, and that was awesome. That was so good. That was one thing I absolutely loved, was two people I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
I think maybe I might have bumped into Blake maybe once or twice before, but wouldn't have been able to tell you his name unless it was on my screen.
Same for me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
so that
g'day,
was really...
Blake and V as well.
Yeah, g'day.
Shout out to
They're
Blake.
really great.
Yeah. Blake was up late the other night getting his tapper pin, and he finally got it. So good on you, Blake.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, I did bump into him on that Friday night, and he showed me the tapper pin that he won. And it took him about 4 hours, apparently.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's a cool pin.
Finally got it.
It's a cool pin.
Yeah,
It's worth
it
it.
is. It is.
Wow.
I'd love one, but
yeah,
I have to play Tapper to get it. So
yeah,
Yeah. It's an evil game. So yeah.
Most of the
It is.
games are, but that was kind of really, really awesome. So a couple of little hiccups at the start, but once we got going, we had more hiccups, which we solved on the on the fly.
yeah,
But overall, it was
Honestly,
good fun.
Aaron, given that was like I said before, given that was a 24-hour event that you had
barely
to
a
run,
hiccup, man.
really, what 2, maybe 3 hiccups that we barely even noticed. Yeah, I noticed the first one, but after that, But I think it's fair to say that for a 24-hour event running multiple different formats of different competitions, different platforms,
It was fucking rad. It was so good.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really good.
And
Yeah,
you
it was
just
a lot
said
of fun.
before that was your first event that you've actually hosted and ran yourself. So, mate, I really do take my hat off to you.
Thanks,
Well,
mate. Thanks, mate.
I'll add to that by saying that I didn't actually realize that it was the first event that you had run.
Yeah.
Same.
So
Same.
I think that you did really well, Doctor.
Well, as a doctor, you need to be able to adapt and
and adapt. You did. But guys, did you want to add anything before we go and kick on and look at the next video? Everything.
I might add a quick bit. Just
Please do.
At the start there, just during that video, I was still setting up a couple of things, a couple of consoles and controllers and games and stuff. I was trying to run around and get it done. I thought I'd be in a bit earlier than I was. But yeah, so part of the preparation on my side as well was bringing like a big box of consoles, games, controllers, things, which ended up all working on the day, which is great. Yeah.
Were you the one
unlike the N64, which
that was
gutted for that.
I was genuinely gutted that I only got one round of Mario Kart 64 in, and then the N64 was coming out.
I mean,
24 I was really gutted.
We'll get to it a bit later, but it was. I'm kind of kicking myself because I was like, I have like 3 or 4 controllers at home. It's like, maybe I should bring them. And I'm like, no, they've got
there's plenty there.
But I don't touch them at Netherworld at all.
But as you said, Aaron, it's a learning. It's learning for next year.
And that's it. And I have to say, I don't know if we'll get to it, but how we solved the problem of the Nintendo 64 Mario Kart was pretty cool.
On the go, that was sick.
Yeah, man, literally.
Mike, were you? But did you provide the Wii?
No,
that's Neil's.
That was Neil's. Neil, good on you, Neil.
Oh well, it's actually Aaron's, but he gave it to me afterwards. So
it's yours now.
Hey, Dennis, do you have any videos of the Mario Kart tournament at all?
I've got is photos. I think that the Mario Kart was there was too intense, and there were too many swear words, and
sounds about right.
Too many threats of violence, so that weren't
it was so fun.
This year.
Well, I was going to say, what sort of time did we kick that off?
It was it was from mid-morning onwards. Actually, no, it was afternoon.
No, it was in the afternoon. So the idea behind the Mario Kart tournament. So in chatting with Mike and Neil and Sean earlier on as well, the idea of doing so I don't know about you all, but a Friday, Saturday night, sitting around with your mates, having a pizza and some junk food and stuff, like playing GoldenEye because I had a 64, GoldenEye, Mario Kart. Everyone would bring their controller. Like that was really just, the pinnacle of being a kid. And we wanted to replicate that. We wanted to kind of have that nostalgic feeling behind staying up late and playing games and being tired. So that was why we did the console event. However, a couple of the controllers were just cactus, for want of a better term. And hey, they get a lot of love at Netherworld, and it's our fault for not going in and double checking everything.
It's okay.
But what happened was about 2 or 3, maybe 2 months ago. There's a group chat, and I was I'm getting rid of some stuff, trying to declutter. And one of the things I was trying to get rid of was a Nintendo Wii, and I was like, "Hey, does anyone want a Nintendo Wii?" And Neil was like, "You know what? Our one just broke. Would love it." And I'm like, "Well, perfect. You can have it." And there was a couple of times Neil and I meant to cross paths, but we didn't. And I said to him, "Mate, Death by Arcade, I'll bring it in for you, and it can just, you can take it when you're going home." And I had Mario Kart for the Wii. And we had the Wii, and I was like, well, if Nintendo 64 ain't working, bugger it, let's do it on the Nintendo Wii. We'll set it up and get going.
Why not Zoidberg?
We didn't have... So, for those who don't know, the Nintendo Wii has like a light bar thing, and it uses that to determine where the controller is facing. And you can't actually use it without it. So Neil and I had to jump in the car, go to his house to grab his bar from his broken Wii and bring it back to the Netherworld so that we could do it. So it was a bit of a mission, but good, and it turned out to be a really, really great event. And It was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
I wasn't aware of that. That's I knew that you guys had to go and get a
we had to go see a man about a dog, mate.
Yeah. And get a dog you did. And everyone played Mario Kart, and everyone was super happy with it. I was going to ask Neil before we kick on, because you jumped in just before we kicked everything off there. What were your experiences sort of in prep and getting into the event, mate? How did you was there anything that you came in preparation with, or get yourself a good night's sleep like I did, or whatever?
Sorry, gentlemen, whilst this is happening, I'm just going to bip out for a second. Sorry. I'll be back in a second. Sorry.
Oh, good. In preparation was try and get a good night's sleep, but anyone that knows me, I don't run off much sleep at all. So I usually get like 5 hours a night. So that's my regular. So as Jen jokingly said throughout the week, she's like, "You've been preparing this for your whole life, Neil." But one thing I wish I bought was like a second pair of undies, because man, the shape was real. The shape was real.
Oh man.
Preparation wise, no, I was just like, because Mikey's done it before, so he had a bit of a list happening on Facebook, which kind of helped me to.
I
know
used that.
Doing. Yeah,
I literally used that. I was I had myself my bag that I was packing the night before, and I thought to myself, my God, what am I actually going to need? And then Mikey posted up a list, and I was like, you're a saint. It's amazing. So I went and got everything. The only thing I didn't do was bring snacks, and I'll remember that for the next one. But it was loaded up with sports drinks, which I ended up going through all of those. So I'm so glad that you said that, Mike, because dehydration is real for that. Like you're in the air conditioning for 24 straight hours, and man.
Yeah, so what was in my bag? I had 2 sports drinks. I had an energy drink. I had 2 bags of like jerky, just as like a little something to chew every now and then. I had Zappos because I thought I might need some sugar, but I didn't end up touching them. So the kids thought I was awesome when I got home. And I also got Phil from the kitchen. He gave me a pack of
meth.
Just as good. It was coffee. What do you call it?
Coffee gum.
Caffeinated gum.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I had a couple of them. They were really good.
Yeah,
that was great.
It tasted really like spearmint. It was delicious. I was like, because you look at it, and you think it's caffeinated gum. I thought it was going to taste like shit, but it was actually really nice. And that's what I bought.
That's rad. I forgot about the caffeinated gum, because you gave us a stick of that, and it really helped. It's pretty good stuff. So
I couldn't believe how good it was. All of a sudden perked up and ready to rock and roll again. So
I was really upset with myself. So caffeine's actually when you're doing certain types of analysis in chemistry, caffeine's a really, really good standard, because it's like really, 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 really cheap, and you can get it really, 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 really pure. And I was really upset with myself that I didn't bring in like a jar of it and just rub it on me cups.
Just dunk your head in it.
Yeah, just like that scene out of Scarface at the end. Like, do that with men
caffeine.
with caffeine.
Whatever works.
So sorry, gentlemen, I need to use the restroom and grab myself a little vino.
Look at you multitasking like that. As long as you didn't do it sort of both at once because if you got like a cask in your bathroom, I'd be worried. But
or impressed, one or the other.
Second video, you guys.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Let's roll on.
Let's do this. Okay, so it was only early days for this video. I think it was about 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. I'll go the 10 a.m. first. And we'll go there.
Have you got the list, Aaron, of what was when?
Yeah, I can open it up.
Yeah, cool. Just
good luck. 10 a.m. here with Mike.
So this looks like it was the 5-minute attack.
What are your tips, Mike? Don't die.
Stay out of the outer edges. That's probably the best tip.
Yeah, Aaron, what would we have been doing at that point, mate? Was that a
that
5-minute
would've been
thing or a
great.
10-minute?
Good.
What a fucking special day.
Just getting some videos for the podcast, so I'm going to get a little video every hour on the hour. So
Good.
with 24 little videos and a couple of chats.
I'll stop it there because that's pretty much all it was, really. Like just talking to Chops, and g'day Chops, by the way.
Chops.
Hello.
What a freaking legend.
Mr. Worms. Yeah, he's the Worms champion.
The Worms champion.
Man of
inaugural
Netherworld. Yeah.
So, at that point, it was the first event that was going. I think it was like the 5-minute.
Yeah, it was a 5-minute frenzy. The games for those playing at home were, I think, Donkey Kong, Frogger, Galaga, Sonic, Gorf, and then I think Gyrus, and there was another console game. I can't remember what it was, but those were the.
It was the Duck Hunt.
Oh yes, that's right, Duck Hunt. And then
Bloody
we also
Duck Hunt.
had Mortal Kombat 2 and Point Blank. I think were the games in it. And
Right on.
If everyone wants to talk whilst I log into Match Play, I can maybe give you some stats if you all want to chat about it, how you all went with it.
That'd be rad, yeah.
That would be awesome.
By 10 a.m., obviously, everyone was still feeling fresh as a daisy and enthusiastic and ready to rock and roll. And
the beers had just started flowing as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
And I saw Mike playing Gallagher, and I was like, I got to get a video of this. The King is playing Gallagher.
Yeah.
I got to go in and document this. But yeah, it was pretty fun. And I think by then, for me, the nerves had worn off because everyone was there and we got settled in. We had our routine. I knew how Match Play was working, was able to sign in and, all that sort of stuff. So by then it was really nice and it was ready to rock. Did you guys have anything, John, Mike, Neil?
No, not at that stage of the morning, mate. I mean, you pretty much covered it. We were still just sort of buzzing and high on adrenaline and excitement. I will say excitement even more so than adrenaline. But
it was other stuff later, like first alcohol and then caffeine, and then I don't know after that. Like,
I mean,
pizza,
as Mike said, I mean, 10 a.m. was legally when they were able to start pouring the drinks. So, I think at 10:01, I probably got my first ginger beer. So, I was ready to start slowly pacing myself. That was actually one of the things I really did have to tell myself going into this 24-hour event is that I'm a lightweight when it comes to alcohol.
Oh, me too, man.
So, I'm at a bar for that length of time with full of excitement, surrounded by my best mates in the world, having so much fun.
No hangovers.
Exactly. I had to really tell myself, John, you do not want to spend the next day recovering not only from lack of sleep, but a hangover. So I really had to tell myself, pace those drinks.
As an Irishman, I think throughout the entire event, I had 3 drinks.
Wow.
And each one of those I think was when we were sitting down for some food.
Yep.
Because I was the same. I'm like, you know what? I got to stay sharp, sober, alert, and I'm really really glad I did. Not that it would have. I've had a couple of extra. I don't think would have made a massive difference, but that kind of just commitment to the event and commitment to putting on a good event and stuff like that kind of pushed me to do it. So Carnival and Crazy Taxi were the other 2 games in there. By the way,
Carnival, of course.
Yeah, and we had 10 players, and if I go to so I think the way it worked, because we only had a sort of small pool of players. I think we had 10 all up for the Death by Arcade.
Mm-hmm.
The prize pool wasn't massive, which is a little bit of a shame. But it's But John Tannahill came first, so what a legend, with 11 wins and 3 losses. Dennis, you came second, mate, with 9 and 4.
Well done.
Yeah, and then Neil came third with 9 and 5. So
well done.
Yeah. So I think from memory it was a $20 or $30 voucher, I think, for first, and then drinks tokens for second and third.
That's right. I got some tickets. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, nice. And that was, to be honest, I think Jimmy and Ben probably would have lost money on the arcade side of things. So big shout out to them for one, not only allowing us to put on an event, but also being incredibly supportive and
Generous.
generous. Thank
Yeah.
you. Great. Perfect
Yeah,
word. Perfect word
definitely.
for them too.
In fact, I think that's actually a good moment to just mention, as you've already previously said in the text messages, in our chat rooms and whatnot. But a 24-hour event for Netherworld, not only with the 10 people doing the Death by Arcade, but to have 40 people doing Death by Pinball. So there's 50 people that are there to compete and all that, and then there's the staff there to help to run it all. That the kitchen staff. I mean, God, for them to have flawless, just smooth. When the nachos are ready, when the
nachos.
I mean, how good was nachos?
So
but
good.
But they were just running so beautifully to keep everyone fed. Everyone just lining up, boom, 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 boom. Got to take hats off to those guys.
Yeah, and like as well. Like, I mean, not to sort of harp on about it or anything like that, but at the end of the day, though, they're running a business, and to make money through that business is their livelihood.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't think they would have. I reckon they probably would have even lost. And for the fact that they're that generous and put it on and support the community, support the people involved in the community, and then and you know what? Like, I think everyone who's probably will listen to this podcast will know how awesome these people are. For anyone who maybe hasn't or stumbled upon this, get involved, because it's brilliant.
What a community.
Really,
yeah, what a community.
Everyone loves everyone, and there's not one person within the community I can say, you know what, I don't like that person, or I don't really want to see that person. Like, everyone in the community I love, except John.
I thought you were going to say me, and I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, here we go. He's setting it up, boys. He's setting it up. We've seen this joke before.
All right,
but go on. Anyway, sorry, Dennis. Thank you.
Are we good to?
Yeah, if you got another video,
we got another one.
Just before we move on, just one thing that I got from that video was how awesome it was. Like, there was like 40 pinballers playing their pinball games, and like a lot of those people are just such a huge part of like the Netherworld community. So it was just awesome to have them around as well. And it was awesome to see, like, there were so many staff playing in the event for pinball side. So you had Mitch, Jimmy Jr., there was Sarge and Phil from the kitchen as well. So it was, and Matthew as well. So there was like 6 or 7 people who worked there who were loving the event as well and joining in. It was really good to just have a beer with those kind of people instead of, them working behind the bar. So I really enjoyed that.
I didn't realize that so many people from the kitchen and everything got involved. That's rad. That's really good.
Yeah.
Well, I think, again, not to harp on about it, but like having chats with everyone who works there, I think we live in an age where, the whole no one wants to work. It's no, your conditions are shit. No one wants to work for you. The complete opposite, I feel, is true for that place. They really look after the people that work for them, and they want them to be part of the community. Because one, it's good business practice to get the people who you work for you to be involved with the community, and also, some of the staff there have been there for years and years and years.
Since the start,
Yeah. I mean, obviously some of them, move on to bigger and better things and, literally move across the country. But I've never...
Tyson who runs the arcade, arcade club. He was there playing pinball. He works for Netherworld.
Yeah.
He was
there as well. Phil was there, who works in the kitchen. And I think there was a few other staff who kind of popped in and out, and only for the fact that they were actually also helping out and working at the event. They didn't do the full 24 hours. So, man, you like arcade games or pinball, you got to move to Brisbane. It's where it's happening.
For sure.
I moved here serendipitously, so I'm stoked.
Sometimes things just work out.
Same, It was just by chance. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
You knew it would.
Another video, Dennis.
Okay, let's video on. Woo. Hang on a sec. I'll just find which one I've got to play. Not 10:30 p.m. That's skipping ahead. Some Duck Hunt.
Oh,
That's what the people want.
What a great game.
What a great game.
Nice, perfect. So it's 11 a.m. Everyone's settled in pretty well. Everyone's everyone's playing their A game, and
Except
I
for
just
me.
lost at Sonic, which was good.
Yep, see, I just lost at Sonic. B beat me.
Look at that blast processing.
Oh, beautiful Sonic.
Nice indeed.
There's the doctor.
Yeah.
So there we have it.
Yeah. So I think that would have been toward the very, very end of the frenzy.
Mm.
And Duck Hunt got a lot of love. Like,
Yes.
Got a flogging.
Yes.
Absolute flogging.
I can't speak for everybody, but for me personally, that was literally the first time in my life ever touching Duck Hunt.
What?
And
So
yeah.
I'm gonna-
I had never held that gun, that Nintendo gun in my
Oh, the
hand in
Zapper.
my life. The Zapper, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you all a quick little story.
Give us a tidbit. Go on.
The very first, like, I probably would have played, consoles and video games prior to this, but my very, very first memory of playing video games was Duck Hunt.
Yeah, same.
And
Yeah.
I remember going to, Paul, I can't remember his surname, but he lives on Seagrange Road in Baldoyle in Dublin, or his mum and father at least live there. So Paul, if you're listening, g'day. But I was, this is where my grandparents lived, and I used to hang around an awful lot there. And I went to his, come in and play this. My brother just got for his birthday a Nintendo, and I remember playing it and just thinking, like, how does it know where you're pointing? Like how does this is magic. This is magic. And I'm reminded of the Terry Pratchett quote that sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And I literally think that's where my love of technology, games, and how they intertwine with one another came from, being fascinated, absolutely fascinated by the fact that this little pew-pew knew where the feck you were pointing on a screen, and just being, like, blown away. Like, games can't get better than this, boys.
Yep.
It's
all
real.
downhill from here.
And I was like, it's amazing, So Duck Hunt is probably my earliest memory of gaming. And Mike, actually, he's a bit of a collector, and I think Mike gets a lot of pleasure from buying maybe stuff that isn't great quality and fixing it up and getting it really good. And he sold me that Nintendo and Zapper gun and Duck Hunt and stuff like that, and it's the best purchase I think I've ever made. So thank you, Mike.
Oh man, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah.
Oh man, I legit actually wouldn't mind sitting down and really, really going for a Duck Hunt. I don't know about a world record. The world record's ridiculous, but I mean, I don't know what my top score is. I think it's about like 600,000 or something. It's not brilliant,
That's
but it's not
That's still pretty damn high, man.
Yeah, it's rad. It's good.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well, you know.
I did play through it before I sold it to you. I played through to like level 99, and I was like, okay, I think I've had enough Duck Hunt now. I've really enjoyed it.
99. You got through 99 levels.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and
got the full Duck Hunt experience.
Wondering to see where it would go, but it just kept going. I'm like, okay, yeah, that was good. Yeah,
wow.
And enjoyed the Duck Hunt. Yeah.
You start to see like the sky get darker. It's like it becomes nighttime.
You do, yeah.
There I was thinking I actually did okay in Duck Hunt by the end of the night. I mean, holy hell, you guys are
level
way
16.
ahead.
Woo.
It's a hard game. It's but really enjoyable and kind of. I mean, for me at least, anyway. Like a lot of my interest in, especially, well, I'm not really big into new games, but especially the older games was like, how the hell did they do this with such limited sort of, not limited technology, but they solved
less advanced technology.
Yeah, well, they solved very, very complicated problems very, very simply. And as a scientist and someone who's into engineering and stuff like that, it kind of just, like, that more so fascinated me. And yeah, so Duck Hunt is kind of probably my entry point into the gaming world, for want of a better term.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I was really happy to be able to share that with people who had never experienced it before. It was very enjoyable.
Oh yeah.
Cool, man.
It was actually one of the first console games I ever played in my life too. Because when we moved to Australia from Ireland, we used to stay with my cousins and hang out at their place, and they had an NES. My cousin Robbie had a NES set up in his room, and it's the first time my family and us kids had seen a video game console, because in Ireland, in the country, there's no. You're lucky to have a couple.
You got to play with the horses.
Yeah, that's it. They're out in the paddocks, crawling on bloody hay bales and just getting mucky. But yeah, so yeah, Kung Fu Master, Ninja Turtles, and Duck Hunt. I'm pretty sure he had Mario, but I can't remember playing it.
I think anybody that had a NES had to play.
Oh yeah,
everyone had Super Mario Duck Hunt. Yeah, sure.
Well, it's on the same cartridge for
it is, yeah.
A lot of the later releases.
We had the action set that had both.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I don't mean to deviate away from the stuff that is related to the Death by, but Aaron, you literally jogged a memory of mine, because as you're talking about as a young fella playing Duck Hunt, and you're holding that gun, you're putting in a little old CRT TV, and you're just like, as a kid, wow, what is this amazing stuff going on? That is very similar to how it was for me as a young fella, not in the Nintendo world, because as you can tell for anyone watching the video, I grew up a Sega boy. And so I started off in the Sega Master System, and very quickly, it really didn't take long at all to upgrade to the Sega Mega Drive. And once I had the Mega Drive,
it's pronounced Sega.
Shut up! Just shut up. Anyway, so one of the games that I had on the Mega Drive, which I did play quite a lot, and I was very lucky to have it in the big box and everything, was Lethal Enforcers, I believe.
Great game.
Mega Drive,
with
the big blue revolver, Dirty Harry gun, and I played the crap out of that. And I remember thinking, this is just the best. How are they doing this? It blew my mind. So that was actually, for me, that was the first laser gun game that I ever played, was on the Mega Drive, Lethal Enforcers.
So I actually only stumbled across that at a gaming convention down in Melbourne, like no joke, about probably 8 or 9 years ago now. And up until that point, I had never known there was a light gun game on the Sega. Sorry.
Close one.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah, I'll just pull it back to the Death by Arcade. I'll just like to share my first experience playing Duck Hunt.
Please.
I played it when I was a kid, but like I didn't play it like since I've been an adult. And I watched everyone playing it, and it looked like a fun game. And like, so I rock up. My first game was against tennis, and I sit there and I like it. It's a simple fucking game. You aim at the duck, you shoot the duck. Happy days. I couldn't freaking hit it. I just couldn't hit it. I think I had 2 on my first round, and it was just game over after that. And then like I'm sitting there thinking like, what's going on? Must be something up with the controller or something like that. And then
bad workman blames his tools.
Yeah, Dennis showed me how to use the tool. Right? Dennis
there
comes
you
up,
go.
one shot each time, just bang, bang, perfect the first round. I'm just like.
Question: Were you actually using those lovely cheap plastic sights that are built onto the gun?
Well, by the end of Death by Arcade, I felt full pro at the game. I felt much better at the game when we were sitting down on stage.
Oh yeah.
I felt more comfortable shooting that way than standing up.
It was an awful lot closer.
Was it?
It was. Yes.
I remember looking up the
guide for the setup of it.
Thank you. Yeah, and like if you like put your contrast way up as well, you are more accurate. So the way, for those who don't know, the way it works is that and if you play it 2-player with 2 guns, it's easier to see. But what happens is there's a couple of frames of literally a black screen and a white box, and within the gun there's a photodiode, and that photodiode depending on how well it's illuminated, it's got a lens and stuff like that on it as well. So, depending on how well that photodiode is illuminated, i.e., where in the position your gun is, will determine whether or not you hit the duck. So the closer you are, you can think about the beam of light coming out is less diffuse. So So you've got to be, I think, 6 feet away. And actually, there's certain contrast settings you got to do as well. So it's a bit of a dick around to try and
to get it good. Yeah.
Yeah, because like obviously the cheating way is to literally get it right up next to the screen, you know.
That's right.
But yeah, so not to pee on your parade, Neil, but the fact that it's worked better when you were sitting down was just because you were closer, bro.
Yeah, right.
Ow!
I'll take it.
Did you have fun?
It was great.
That's all
really,
that matters.
especially
That's all that matters.
We'll get to the duck hunt that we did later. So
you want to roll on?
Yeah, please.
Next video.
Please, Dennis. Keep us on track.
What was the video that we just watched then? I think
was it 10:30 or 11? I think
it was before the strippers arrived.
So I'll try and find that then.
What, the strippers?
Yeah.
It
was Aaron. So
it's just me, you know. Bloody, I got
after he came back from picking up the bar from the for the Nintendo Wii, you know.
Yeah, we went to get a thing.
The Green Man King.
So the next thing I got was lunch, right? I just took like a quick whip around while everyone was having lunch, and I found it hilarious that that out of the whole event, which was raucous and loud, and there was stuff going on, and then, you know, people running around, you bumping shoulders with people trying to get to your machines, and then back again trying to dodge the pinball guys because where the machines were, they had to queue around, and we had to make sure that we stayed out of the way. And then it came to lunchtime, and it was absolutely church quiet. And that's in the middle of a pub. You could hear a rat fart.
Yeah, you could, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I think, you know, a good three and a bit hours into it, like,
yeah, that was
especially for the
1:30.
pinball guys, they'd be feeling it, you know.
Oh man, yeah, a lot of running around for them, mate.
Shout out to the cameraman. I just love to say I'm so happy the fact that every camera ending shot is me.
Is it? Maybe it's like a subliminal thing I've got. I want to focus on John.
Yeah. As soon as we see you, we know it's time to stop.
Yeah.
That's the matter of perspective, but yeah, like
no, I do know what you're saying there, Dennis. I think by the time those nachos or whatever it was, I think it was the nachos.
I was ready for lunch by then.
We were all ready for food. I think everyone was just, you know, it was such a huge morning, you know, so much going on, as you say, you know. I think we're all just kind of hit a point of, okay, let's just have a breath. Take a breather.
What's great as well, that of every mealtime that we had, I was running late, so I was playing games, and then it went quiet, and I thought, shit,
what's going on?
It must be mealtime, and then obviously it was, and grabbed my feed, sat down, and got a couple of mouthfuls in, and then Jimmy's like, all right, guys, finish up. We got to kick on with this. So pinball guys, hurry up, get back to your stations.
Yes.
And I was like,
can I just say, when I heard Jimmy say that on the microphone, I was so happy that I was in Aaron's arcade crew and not the pinball crew. Because we didn't have Aaron on the microphone going, right, you 10 arcade guys, it is time to put that food down and get back to work. You know, we were able to actually sit down and take a breath. I feel like those poor 40 people playing pinball were definitely being pushed.
They just
it's all right, John. I'll crack the whip next year.
They were managed tightly. One thing that was great, the nachos for lunch were amazing. So thank you again, kitchen staff. I will question
here we go.
The idea of giving everyone nachos at lunch in a 24-hour event, though.
I can explain.
Please.
Actually, I've chatted with Phil. So, So for those who maybe are unaware, so Phil, I'm not sure of his surname, and I probably shouldn't even mention it online, but he's the head chef at Netherworld. Between himself and a few other people, they come up with all the menus. Again, for those who don't know, Netherworld really prides itself on being kind of, almost over inclusive. So if you're a vegan, if you're lactose intolerant, if you're gluten intolerant, if you're a carnivore, you can get a decent feed. And it's something what they try to do for the majority of the things on their menu. There's definitely a vegan option, and obviously just what they call a carnivore option if you want meat and dairy and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm gluten intolerant, so I love the joint because it means I can get a decent feed without having to poop my pants for 3 days straight. So
fair.
yeah, so it was actually a well, what are things we can do that kind of, and because the kitchen staff had so much to do, like we can just say, well, those who are gluten intolerant, those who are vegan, those who are vegetarian, those who are lactose intolerant, those who are anything in between can just get a feed, and we don't have to stress too much about it. And it's one of the reasons as well that it was, here are your corn chips, take the toppings you want, as well, as opposed to being a plate of everything. So that was the reason behind that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Which I love nachos, bro. Oh,
I
I'll
do
eat them till
too.
the cows come home. So
I just remember 5 to 6 a.m. and the way the place smelled at that point. I think after we had beans, lots of beans.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I was dropping my guts a bit by then.
Yes, you were.
I was, because the thing was like I just meant, I'm gluten intolerant, and I had some potato chips early on, no joke. Like I think so. Something in terms of talking about. So if we throw back to getting prepared, I actually wanted to make some corn tortillas to bring in, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll go out on so it was on what day was it? I can't even remember. It was on Saturday.
Saturday.
And I'm
That's
like,
right.
oh, I'll go out Friday and I'll buy some ingredients. Oh no, everywhere's closed on Friday. So I picked up snacks at 7 a.m. I think at a place called Sam Coco's in Wollongabba, and I just grabbed some bits and pieces. And one of them was just some potato chips, but they actually have an ingredient called maltodextrin, which comes from grain. And I had a whole heap. So by, about the kind of 5 a.m. mark, it had made its way through my digestive
Fucked up.
system.
Oh,
So I'm sorry.
You poor bastard. That would have been really painful, actually.
It wasn't enjoyable. But
Yeah,
I should have read the ingredients.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I blamed one of your special exits, Aaron, on Sam, because there was nothing. Sam was like rushing past everyone to come out from that like front area where the laptops were out to the back, and I just had this waft. I'm like, holy shit! And then Sam,
I probably timed it so that people would blame Sam.
Oh,
No, I think for a lot of
crop dusting.
No, for a lot of them, when I was like, oh god, I'm gonna have to, I think I went sort of elsewhere. But there was a couple where I was just like, oh. So I'm sorry.
These things happen.
That's right. Sam came and cleared his name afterwards, so it's all good.
Speaking of Sam, Sam got his first 100K on DK. So
I saw that.
Sam Roberts.
Yeah.
Well done to him,
buddy.
And I got to quickly put this in there because it was mentioned. Now it wasn't for lunch, I don't think. What was the meal we had later?
Meatballs.
Oh.
That was the one. Yes, thank you, because that had the meatball subs and with a side of chips and that.
Yeah.
Now, when we were all lining up for that particular meal, and I had my turn and I got the plate, and then they had the sauces there. They had a mustard, they had a tomato sauce and that, but I noticed there was no hot sauce. Now, I am a big hot sauce fan, and I love Netherworld for their hot sauces in general. So Jimmy was standing there behind the food bar there in the diner, and I said, "Hey, Jimmy, mate, you want any of your hot sauce on the go that we can squirt?" And he's like, "Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, I'll go grab some right now." And Jimmy came out with a one of his glass bottles of his Netherworld hot sauce, and to which I said, "Oh, thanks, man, that's great." And I start blobbing it on. The guy literally after me said, "Oh man, thanks for being the one to mention it. I was going to say it too. We want hot sauce." So I'm kind of the guy that got the hot sauce train started.
But you're
You're the
blame
guy.
for the smell. You're to blame for the smell.
Standing ovation.
Beautiful, beautiful.
You should write that down and maybe get a book out of it.
Hot sauce guy
Anyway,
leading the way to victory. That's awesome, man. Because there's a hot sauce crew out there.
there is.
Hell yeah,
there
man.
really is.
Hell
Yeah.
I happily say I have purchased a couple of Netherworld's bottles of
They're
different
really
hot sauce.
good, man.
They are
They are
bloody
tasty,
good.
yes.
I am overdue to get another one. They are really
I've updated you, John. You're now a hot sauce guy.
hot sauce guy.
Yeah.
Oh, can you? Oh, I'm just Aaron with a lowercase a. I see.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Wow. No,
I
that's
didn't.
okay.
I didn't write that. You did. So
Is-
Oh, did I? Okay.
Is that how we
FYI.
treat doctors?
with
Aaron,
lowercase, yeah.
FYI,
Lowercase,
you can literally right click on your picture and edit and
Oh,
change
can
it.
you?
Yeah, you can. You can right click and do all sorts of things.
Yes. Hence why I had mine as God of Thunder from Down Under.
Rename. Here we go.
So while Aaron's renaming, another video.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm looking forward to seeing myself at the end again.
You should.
Your lordship.
Well, mate, you're the hot sauce guy. So
Can I get your autograph?
I'll sign your bottle of hot sauce for
Work
you.
update at 2:30. Everyone's had their lunch at about 1:30 or whenever it was, and yeah, just hanging around. I got to enter 10 different scores, so I better do that.
yep.
But, yeah, still going.
Just caught Mikey there.
Oh, just called Mike. It was
Sorry-
a bit
sorry you
suspect.
weren't
No,
around,
John.
Mike.
It's Mike.
It wasn't. I know. It was Mike that time.
Sorry.
he got
Sorry.
he got confused with the lack of sleeves. So
Yeah.
So around that time it would have been the 10-minute tantrum.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the 10-minute tantrum, and I'll be honest, I don't remember, where the idea of 10-minute tantrum. I don't know if it was me or someone else, but it was a bit of an idea from what would be sort of like what would get people really just like come on. And we're like, well, giving someone a time limit on a game, but saying, you can do whatever you want type thing. And again, for those who weren't there and those who weren't, those who don't know, so what we said was, all right, well, we're going to do this thing and we're going to call it 10-minute tantrum. And you got 10 minutes on all the different games. And on all those different games, you get obviously a high score. But if you want to restart, more than welcome to. But whatever your highest score in that 10 minutes is it. And so the games we had were Burger Time, Carnival, Crazy Taxi, Donkey Kong, Golden Axe, Ice Cold Beer, Metal Slug, Miss Pac-Man, Puzzle Bobble, Space Invaders, and Tron. So yeah, it was actually. I don't think an event like obviously we've had frenzies where you get 5 minutes, but if you die, that's your go gone. I don't think we've done an event like that before, and it seemed like people enjoyed it by the looks of it. And I would like to include it again. But yeah, it was. I don't know if maybe the timing probably maybe wasn't quite right. I think the 10-minute tantrum probably would have been good maybe later on in the night where we could have stretched it over an extra hour to give people a bit of respite when they are really, really just drained and God, I don't want to do this anymore, as opposed to doing head-to-heads where it's go, 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 go.
Yeah.
But if you say, right, 10 minutes, you can psych yourself up for those 10 minutes, give yourself a 5 to 10 minute break and move on to a next game. But yeah, I thought personally anyway, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good fun. But yeah.
It was hectic. I think you had a certain amount of time that you had to get all of the games under your belt.
That's correct, yeah.
Which is something that I focused on primarily, but then had to, like I said in the video, go and enter all of my scores after the fact as well. So I focused on making sure I got my games done before entering everything else, just to make sure, because I think it was, I think one good thing about the event overall was that there was constantly something to keep us moving and all the way through. And I think that that's actually what carried a lot of us through. Thinking about it after the fact was that you don't get that opportunity to sit down. And I think if you are idle for that time of the morning, once we get to it, that the fatigue and everything starts to set in. But if you're up and moving, it's a lot better. And I think credit to yourself and Tanner for that, mate, because that was done really well.
Well, when I was chatting with Mike and Neil, and obviously Sean before, and maybe more so Mike, just when we did our little 24 event, it was, we need stuff to do. You can't. The devil makes work for idle hands, as they say, and that was where the idea of the 10-minute tantrum came from. And my only sort of, and not a regret, it's something you learn from. I think maybe later on in the evening, and I think a 10-minute tantrum maybe at that 3 o'clock mark is probably where it's more suited for this type of 24-hour format. So maybe we'll make a reappearance.
On that note, though, can you remind me whereabouts did we do the 3-minute frenzy? What sort of
that
time?
Was at about 4 a.m.
Yeah, that was the. I think
because I was going to
sleep when you're dead type thing or something.
It was like 4
that.
to 6 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say at those hours when it was really, as you say, fatigue, tired, all that lovely fun stuff that we have to deal with. I think the 3-minute at those hours was a good idea.
Yeah.
I've got a video of you. I've got a video of you and me playing. So you don't.
Oh, awesome!
You're featured in more videos as well, Hot Sauce Guy. So don't be worried. Feature a lot.
I'm gonna have to get a shirt made up now, aren't I? Hot Sauce Guy. I'm gonna get something done up. Yeah.
I can chuck on a video, or do you guys want to have a quick break? Is everyone all right?
Yeah,
I'm
good. Break. Break.
Oh, you want a break?
Oh,
yeah, I'm good for a quick little peek.
All right.
Hey guys, Sean here. Thanks to everyone who tunes into the Play It Up podcast. We really love doing this podcast and really appreciate everyone who listens. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram by searching for Play It Up Podcast. You can find the full video podcast on YouTube, and you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, Anchor, and more. If you want to ask us a question, you can do so on Anchor, and your question will be featured on the podcast. If you like what we do, please remember to like, review, comment, follow or subscribe, and please recommend us to your friends. Thanks guys, and enjoy the episode.
Yeah, everyone's here and present and accounted for.
Here he is.
Must be ready for the next video.
G'day, legend.
It's a baby face himself.
Yeah, look at this.
So smooth.
What's with you
and it's
backlit
as well.
already.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful in that blue light.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice. It's very nice. Alrighty. So what were we up to? I think past 2:30 in the afternoon. So we were heading into, I think my next video was like 6 p.m. or something like that.
Wow.
This is, it got busy. This is when things started to turn. We went towards the evening, and it was pretty fun from that point as well, getting into like the real crux of the event, I reckon.
Sun was going down.
Let me see if that's the right one. There we go.
It's a Blake right there.
Well, it's 6 p.m. since the last checkup. There's some musical music playing, keeping us all excited. Everyone's very, I don't know, settled, I guess.
I was pretty relaxed by then, yeah. A couple of pints in, loving it. Yeah. Oh, and there's the beer board.
Ended with Mike.
It ended with Mike again. I really thought you were going to pan right and end with me.
Sorry that you're both 2 and 2, mate.
It's definitely got something to do with sleeves.
I am
It
so
was getting hot by then. A lot of
It
moving
was,
around. So.
mate. I brought in my backpack. I packed a pair of jeans. I packed my flannel jacket and everything, thinking, "Oh, it might get cold at some point." I was hot. I was warm all the way through. At no point did I get cold. I'm so glad that video showed the Pong on the Atari 2600. Aaron and I heavily agree on one thing about that. It was way too much fun for what we were expecting.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah,
it was really good.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to lie. When I walked around the place and I was like, "Oh God, there's an actual Atari 2600 sitting there with Olympic Games for Pong," I was like, "Oh,
really?
Shit. All right, yeah." Part of me went, "Oh, that's cool. That's retro. Hey, yeah, cool, whatever." But then part
It's gonna
of me
be
thought,
boring.
it's gonna be boring.
Yeah,
like
that's what I thought.
I was not excited. Even when they said John McIntyre, I'm just imitating you there, Aaron. John McIntyre, go play Pong. I had to go play Pong on the Atari, and I initially was like, "All right, okay, I guess if we got to, let's rip this Band-Aid off." And holy shit, did I enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good.
It was fun.
That's I have to say that's something about these events is that you kind of get forced into playing games you maybe otherwise wouldn't touch.
Yes.
And purely for the case that it just doesn't look like fun, and then you get into them, it's like,
wait a second.
Yeah. I was the same with Burger Time for this event. Like I was like, Burger Time, but I can't remember who pointed it out to me, but it's just another maze game, and I apparently quite like maze games. So there you go.
I was the exact same with Mario Kart. I have a dislike for Mario Kart. And
I remember you saying like, "Fuck, I'm actually really," and that's. I think that
and I enjoyed the shit out of it. It was so much fun.
Yeah. So
in the context of what it is, like Pong and Mario Kart and those head-to-head games were really good, and they were quite engaging. I think really well put at that point in the evening as well. Yes. I think that we'd done the timed stuff, and that was fine. It was good. It served its purpose and all, and we did our thing. But then when the head-to-head stuff came up, it was something different again, and it was it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So again, this would have been the two-player. We call it two-player face-off. I was trying to go for like movie names and movie quotes and stuff like that for all the names of things. So the two-player face-off, whereas essentially like all two-player games, like where you could literally have, it's not I have a go, you have a go. We're playing this together, and again, it was to try and throw it back to that, sitting around with mates late of a night, playing games because that's the way it would. And then so all the games, there was Bishi Bashi, Daytona, Duck Hunt. So for those who don't know, Duck Hunt's actually a two-player game. If one person has a controller and one person has a gun, one person can control the duck, and obviously the other person shoots it. So that was kind of cool because it's just frustrating. So fuck yous,
Aaron, was it you and me that were playing Duck Hunt at one point during that as well, like in the evening?
Probably.
Do you even remember?
Dude, probably.
A lot happened.
A lot happened. And if it wasn't then, I think I do remember sitting with you playing Duck Hunt at one point, I have to admit.
Yeah.
But then we had Mortal Kombat 2, which is a pretty crap game, and nobody really.
You did not. Oh my god!
Hot Sauce guys not happy.
Hot Sauce guys not happy. There was NBA Jam, which in hindsight was a crap game to pick for this format. Just because of the logistics of how the game works. Not that it's a bad game or anything like that, even though it is. There was Point Blank, Street Fighter 2, obviously on the arcade, and then Tony Hawk, which was obviously two players with the one controller. And the interesting thing about Tony Hawk is that when you have two players, there's only, I think, and someone correct me if I'm wrong here, but there's only something like 32 megabytes of RAM on a PlayStation or something like that. It's absolutely, well, when I say absolutely tiny, when we're talking about Atari 2600, it would have had something like, 2 bits of RAM. So one of the ways in which they achieved not cooperative, but sort of that head-to-head with Tony Hawk was to limit the level size. So if you're playing against the levels are actually a bit smaller, so they're a little bit
is that why? Okay.
And do you know what that's funny you say that. You know what we found in the hangar level?
Yeah.
The helicopter is invisible, but it's still there.
That's
Like,
right.
They just don't have the graphic for it. You
That's-
can still
that's-
grind across the blades. Like,
Yeah.
what the f-
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
So all the code for it is still there, but
They just- yeah.
having a
Wow.
this is an area where you can do X doesn't take much of memory, but actually loading graphics and then not only loading the graphics, but you can imagine displaying those graphics for every individual for each individual player. So so the levels are an awful lot smaller.
Wow.
So the reason I wanted to throw that one in was one
That's
because
cool.
it's kind of like people aren't gonna quite. Well, it's a bit different because we had Tony Hawk and a couple of earlier ones, but yeah. So and again, it's a game I used to play heaps as a kid, so I wanted to chuck it in. And then of course we had Pong on the 2600, which
was great.
as John pointed out, had absolutely no right being as much fun as it was.
Yeah.
No right, no business being that good. It just
we
had no
actually
business being that good.
we're lucky that it was running because
Yeah, we had a bit of trouble.
I brought my Pong, the paddles from my Atari from home, and Ben from Netherworld, he supplied the Atari and two paddles as well. And there's two different sorts of paddles. He's got the paddles where each paddle has its own joystick port, where the Pong tennis paddles, they have two paddles joined into one joystick port.
Yeah.
So I tried both of Ben's paddles and they wouldn't work on Pong. One worked okay, the other one just wouldn't register, and it would it wouldn't register at all.
So it was really interesting. The reason how they did that. So if you look at someone's going to correct me here, but I remember reading about this how on the very, very, very early inceptions of the Atari home console, they were only going to have the one joystick port, so they were trying to come up with ways of making two-player games.
Yeah.
And one of the ways they were like, well, Pong, if you look at Pong, for example, there's up and down. Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you think about up and down, according to a computer, there's no real difference between if you're registering something going up and something going down. That's two bits of information. Or am I going left and right? So it actually taps into the left and right and up and down. So player one might be up and down, but player two is actually technically on the left. Yeah, which is just really cool.
Oh, shit.
And again,
What a simple design. Wow.
Well, this is kind of what really this is what gets me excited about games in a sense, is that, well, not games, but just computers in general. It's like all these really kind of cool ways of solving problems, And anyway,
So I wonder if you had it on a D-pad, if you could literally play Pong against yourself if you went up and down.
So something, and I think it's something that we won't do next year, or if we do next year, it will be very, very concise and limited. So one of the things, and I chatted with yourself, Neil, and Mike about it, was, we might have a bit of downtime. People might want to do stuff during that downtime. So we had this idea of the mini comps. Nobody fucking touched the mini comps. Everyone was too tired. So I think the only mini comp people were actually sort of had the slightest bit of interest in was the Duck Hunt. But no one wanted to do any of the other ones. But one of the ones we had where you have to play Pong against yourself. And Mike and I, early on when we were setting it up, we had a go, and it actually is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to play against yourself. With the two paddles, one in each hand. It's it's a bit of fun.
I was thinking maybe next year we have a section of the 24 hours for the mini comps, like
That's
a 2 or
a good
3
idea.
hour,
That's a
3
good
hour
idea.
block.
So you can go and just walk
10 different challenges.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and it makes it more of a social sort of thing as well.
I think so.
Because if someone figures out the challenge, how to beat it, they can sort of teach other people, or
And that's one thing I would. So I think maybe the next video we show will probably be the relay. So maybe if you want to show that video, Dennis, and we can talk about this whole sort of cooperative thing a bit more.
Let's do that.
Before we
segue.
move on, do we want to talk about who won that head-to-head?
Oh,
and the
sorry,
I don't think we mentioned the 10-minute tantrum.
So from the tantrum, apologies, I'll get it up. So the 10-minute tantrum, from memory, it was John again, and Mike came second.
Oh.
And Neil, you came third and got yourself a drink token. So well done. And the way that worked was like a lot of the high score competitions do. If you get the high score, you get 100 points. If you get the second high score, you get 99, and so on and so forth. And then for the... What was the other one? The other one was the head-to-head. Was the face-off? That's what it was called. And Dennis, you won that with and you smashed it with 13 wins overall, but 17 wins and 4 losses. So you were a cut, and wow. And you played the second most games as well. So yeah, your win to loss ratio was incredible. John, you came second with 7 wins, but 14 wins and 7 losses. And Sam actually came third in that with 4 wins overall, which was 12 and 8.
All right, Sam.
And sorry, Aaron, was that the head-to-head that you're talking about?
Yeah, that was the 2-player face-off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So all 2-player games, so things like that. So the games in that...
Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat.
Fishy Bashy, Daytona, Duck Hunt, Mortal Kombat, NBA, Point Blank, Pong, Street Fighter, and Tony Hawk.
Right on.
Yeah.
And you saying I got second in that?
Yeah. Did you get drinks tokens for it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I think, but it's funny you say that, Aaron. I'm pretty sure that the drink tokens that I won on that night, I think they're still sitting in my wallet. I haven't used them yet, so I'm going to cash in on them at some point.
Sacre bleu.
But
so if you don't want them, I'll take them off your hands.
Oh hell no, I'm going to take it out of it. But I did actually. Something just popped into my head with the Tony Hawk. Neil, you slimy dog. I got to say, when at some point, I can't remember, it was prior to having to play Tony Hawk against, as it so happened, against Neil. And when I found out I was versing Neil and Tony Hawk, I at some point in my hazy, I made some crack about, I am going to need something to give me a bit of luck to beat Neil at Tony Hawk, because quite frankly, I suck at that game. I did not grow up on it like you guys. I am shit at it. And Neil decided to hustle me, give me this false sense of security, of this false hope, so to speak. And he was like, "Oh man, you're gonna whoop me. You don't need anything at Tony Hawk. Blah blah blah, fucking blah." And then it was us matching at that horse. The horse.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. A horse. It was skate or horse or whatever it's called.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, 2 things happened in that match with me and Neil.
I know one of them.
Yeah, Neil knows where I'm going with this. Now, 2 things happened. One, Neil whooped me. I had no hope in hell of beating Neil. But the second thing that happened, which I was pleasantly happy with, I must admit, is Neil decided, well, why does it have to be the word horse? There's got to be other 5-letter words we can use instead of horse. And what did we settle on, Neil?
I think I found moist was a good 5-letter word.
I walked into it and I'm like, who the fuck changed it? This is brilliant.
So
that was,
rather than
So I was drinking a pint. Yeah, I was doing about a pint every 45 minutes at that stage, and I was surprised that I could drink so much. Like if you just drink like a fair bit of water with it as well, and the Gatorades as well. But yeah, that was just a bit of fun to add to the competition.
So Neil proceeded to change it from horse to moist, and then proceeded to kick my ass.
So you were a moist at the end.
Yeah, it was so moist. Yeah.
Excellent. So with that, I'll find the next visual. So we were at about 6:30 p.m. I think at that point. We'll go to 10:30 p.m. and
10:30.
10:30 at night. Everyone's still going. Especially this guy. Hey.
Look at that beard.
I'm amazed. A lot of energy. Hi.
Are you streaming?
Nah, quick video. So I'm doing just videos at I don't know, every hour to 2 hours, just to show everyone gradually deteriorating.
Fine.
Everything's great. Where's the beef? Where's the beef?
So
Where's
if I
the beef?
remember, yeah. So if I remember correctly, so that was at about 10:30. Did you say?
10:30.
So if I remember correctly, between the 6:30 and the 10:30, you might not have a video of it, but we had the relay. And then directly after the relay, so I think that I think we had. I can't remember the numbers, but I don't think.
Out with it, Aaron. Come on.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Neil. Sorry. Neil didn't want to do the Mario Kart, I think, from memory. He was like, "Oh, I need to get away from everything and stuff like that." So he went off and played Donkey Kong. So I think at that time the Mario Kart competition was going on. But between the 2-player event that we also had the arcade relay. And the arcade relay was, the idea behind that was that you have 2 people or however many within a team, and you play games, and the idea is that if you complete a level or a stage or die, the other person jumps on. So we had a whole heap of different games. So there was Burger Time, Crazy Taxi, and we came up with the slogan. What was it? Drop and swap or something like that.
Yeah. Drop and swap.
So whenever you drop someone off, you swap. So you have to jump off the Crazy Taxi, and then which was a bit of fun.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh no, we had Donkey Kong, Frogger, Galaga, Gyrus, Miss Pac-Man, Puzzle Bobble, Space Invaders, and Tron. And one of the kind of interesting things we came up with just some silly names. Again, I was trying to sort of come up with like movie titles and stuff. So there was one team was Dumb and Dumber. Do we know who was in that team?
I remember.
I could check on Match Play, see who it was.
No, I didn't put the names in. I don't believe because I put the player names in as the team names and just said, "Hey, you're in this team, you're in that team."
Right.
Now there was. I told you we'd be back in time, which was myself and Neil because we sort of buggered off to go.
That's
get
when
the
you guys
life
left.
bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was quit while you're ahead.
Yeah.
And Mike. That's me and Mike. Yeah.
Oh, nice. There was definitely not Mario Brothers because that would be copyright infringement, which I think was Tannahill and whoever he was with. And then there was the Injured Egos. And I think the relay event, I'd actually really, really love to see more of this in any type of event, or even just, hey, let's get as many people in as we can. And maybe if it's so, I think specifically for this one, I said there is no prize. So there's there's nothing for this. So don't worry about getting a good score. And the idea was, now I did it just randomly. I literally put everybody's name into a random generator and just pick names. But actually, what I think I'd like to do next time is maybe have teams of 3 as opposed to 2. And I think just because of the way the numbers worked out, unfortunately, it's the way it went. But I'd like the idea of having like either a points buy system where, okay, if you're a really, really good player, you're worth 10 points. And if you're not such a great player, you may be worth 2 or 3.
Well, that's good.
You only get to spend, say, 15 points on a team. So you have to kind of do that. Or just, the very top person goes with the very bottom person and second, and it kind of evens it out. And what it does is, and I know for me, sitting with Neil, he showed me how to do the Wall of Death with Space Invaders, and then I can't remember what the other game was, but there was a couple of things where Neil was like, "Oh, you do this, you do that," and I learned a lot.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see that, and from memory, the pinball community do something like this where they have teams, and you come in as a team and you do a score on a machine. I would absolutely love to do that, but have some sort of points buy system where, like Tannahill, for example, he kills it, in fucking everything because he rose. Well,
must be it.
So it must be it. So maybe he would. And Mike is a fucking denizen, for Christ's sake. So maybe he'd be rated much, much higher. But we had Blake and V who weren't mad involved in the community, so maybe they'd be a bit lower. And then with people like myself and
even me, man. Yep.
Who are good at certain games, but overall maybe not great players. So and you know, you learn the games and you get into it, and I'd love to see that more. Not that the community isn't cooperative, but it gives that
level
element
the
of-
playing field a little, and
yeah, exactly it.
I think it'd be
exactly
good.
it. Yeah, so I'd really that was one that was a big hit, and I really want to see more of it.
Yep.
Really, really.
I do heavily agree on that, Aaron, and that was the funny thing. Like, you know, I got paired up with Mike as my partner in that, and I enjoyed the shit out of the relay. I really did. That, you know, I spoke before and said out of that 24-hour period, I could only remember 2 or 3 of the formats. Like, I was trying to remember what the different formats were, what we did. I remembered relay. I remembered it vividly, and one of the things I really enjoyed about it was the fact that I knew straight up that Mike, as you say, Mike is up here.
He's going to carry you.
He's going to have his bloody portrait on the wall, for crying out loud. He's an ultimate. Yeah,
Sure
and
is.
his little old me learning these games. Yeah, and I'm starting out with a lot of these games.
Yep.
So when Mike and I went up to each machine, like say, you know, be it Space Invaders, as you mentioned, you know, I made a point of actually saying to Mike, "You go first. You start."
Yeah. And then there's a bit of strategy behind it as well, which is kind of cool.
Because I was learning. It was a tutorial basically, like while he was having his first turn. And I have, okay, that's what I should be doing. That's a good way to go about it. You know, so things I'd never even knew about. You know, Donkey Kong teaching me the tricks in there, Space Invaders teaching me the Wall of Death, you know, stuff like that I'd never even heard about. So
gyrus as well, you know, the
gyrus,
bottom, the right, the left, the top.
exactly.
A lot of placement.
And I think as well, like, and not to speak ill of anyone or to say that people aren't helpful within the community. Sometimes, like, when there's an event, you want to win, and there's nothing wrong with that. With wanting to, like, you know, get that voucher for, you know, so yourself and the missus or yourself and the boyfriend can have a meal or whatever. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But I specifically said, you know, there's not going to be a prize for this one because I don't want people being competitive with it.
Yeah.
I don't want people being, no, go left, no, what are you doing? I didn't, and I knew also because it was going to be sort of later in the night, people will be a bit tired, a bit frustrated. So I, if I recall correctly, I specifically said, there's no prize for this one, so just be aware of that and whatever. And I think, not that I suspect, I think it just changed the mentality of it just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Because, like, I've been at frenzies and people will, you know, go first and go, oh no, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do the other. And knowing that, explaining the strategy to someone, you know, who's literally never played the game before, never had an interest in the game before, you know, it might increase their score by 50%, but you're still going to get, you know, 10 million points more than them or whatever it is. And that was the idea behind the relay, was to pair people. And I did it randomly just because we did, to be honest, with Death by Arcade, we didn't get the numbers we were expecting. We were hoping for around 20 people. We got 10, which, hey, nature of the beast, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Hopefully next one, word will spread, you know, and we'll get more. So I just did it. I thought the best way to do it would just literally be random.
It worked well, I think.
It did. I believe so. And to be honest with you, I think if, you know, I had it done random and Mike and Tannahill had gotten together, like, I probably would have split them up. Let's be honest, you know, like, or Mike and Neil, or Tannahill and Neil, or people who are like really. I wanted a bit of a spread, you know.
It was me and Tanner that ended up getting paired up in that.
Oh, okay,
in that comp.
Cool.
So,
yeah, you know,
we won the 2-player AAC.
Yeah. So the if I go to overview. So the definitely not Mario Brothers, because that would be copyright infringement, came first. The I Told You We'd Be Back in Time, which was myself and Neil, we came second. And Quit While You're Ahead came third. So, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That
But
I'm actually glad you said that, because that reminded me of a little extra bit I wanted to say.
Here we fucking go.
I'm glad there was no prize, because going into that with Mike, oh my God, here's Mike starting and showing me what to do and how to be awesome. And then he would either finish a level or, oh, he's been hit once, he's lost a life. Okay, I gotta jump in. It's my turn. And I would last all of 5 seconds and get my ass kicked. And so I was definitely the weak link in that little team.
It was almost specifically designed that way. That there would be.
It's like a 3-legged race for arcade, really. Like.
Yeah, it kind of. And again, I think in my mind, what I wanted Death by Arcade to be was reminiscent of sitting around with your cousins, your brother, your sister, your mates from down the road or upstairs if you live in an apartment, of a weekend, and there's no parents and stuff. And that was, for me, that was kind of the idea I had in my head, was like it should be like that.
Yeah.
And
Aaron, I think that was definitely accomplished. I can't speak for necessarily everybody that was there with the.
No, please do.
Okay, good. But I'll do it. Why not? Hey, I'm a hot sauce guy. Fuck you. But in all seriousness, in all honesty, as you said yourself, if Netherworld or who when there's a specific event happening, say for example, it was a Ultimate Punch. A fighting game competition. You win a cash prize, you win a big trophy. There's a real prize for first place.
Yeah.
Now, when I go to those events and I am competing, my God, I'm passionately into it, and I really want to try for first place. I want to try and win. I didn't feel like that at this event at all. Over the whole 24-hour period. At no point during the 24 hours did I think, oh, God damn it, I got to get that, that high score. God, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I didn't feel that at any point, not just with that particular the relay or where you said there was officially no prize. I felt like that for the whole thing.
So one of the things as well is I never mentioned prizes in it, and there was a couple of reasons for that, because one, we didn't know what the numbers we were going to get. So like legit, it could have at one point we were, no joke, looking at like 4 people, 3 of which were me, Mike, and Neil. So we really didn't know the numbers we were going to get. So the prizes were actually sorted out on the day. And again, Ben and Jimmy came through with being very generous and very supportive of the community. So again, massive shout out to them. So there was that element behind it as well. But I didn't want it to be a...
We didn't want to be able to
contest, for want of a better term.
Yeah.
I it's one thing I am not, like, if you want to be really, really good at a game, perfect. Play against yourself. Play against the AI. Play against the programmers who put the intelligence into that machine. And for me, that's what I enjoy. And from conversations I've had with people, it seems to be that that's more so what they enjoy. But playing against someone and going, "Oh, I'm so much better than you," like who if you get joy out of that, fantastic. But for me, and I think for a lot of people,
I pity those. Yeah, I pity them.
Yeah, I mean, it should be about beating the game, not about beating someone else. Yeah, and that's just other people. Like, obviously in a 2-player game, it's a bit different, obviously.
I think you made the right call with the with that for sure.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, because it was one thing I wasn't.
It set the tone for that time of the,
I think
of the event.
That's what I was aiming for. I was aiming for a, hey, we're all tired. We've all had a few drinks. We've all, well, not me. I had bugger all, but we're all, let's just sit down and learn how to play some games and enjoy ourselves.
It set the right energy level and the right level of enthusiasm for everybody.
It's a really great way of putting it, Dennis. Yeah, and thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like you said earlier, when you would, I think it was around the conversation with the Mario Kart, Aaron, when you mentioned how you were trying to get that vibe, that feeling of when you were just in high school, sitting there with your mates, just a pizza, soft drink, and just having, and that is exactly what we want. That's what you want to feel like. You know? That's gaming at its purest. It's most fun when you're with your mates having a laugh and you don't give a shit really who wins. Yeah,
Well, it's mad interesting, John. You and I were actually, like we said, we caught up on Friday and we had a chat with those. I think one was like 20 years old or
They were
something
younger
like
fellas.
that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh wow, we never got to do that. It's a real shame."
Yeah.
And it's my eldest son, he's 14. He plays on his Nintendo Switch, but he does it from his bedroom with people. And again, like that's kind of cool because like you can play with someone in freaking Korea,
over the other side of the world.
Which is beautiful,
which is cool in its own
amazing.
right. Yeah.
But you do remove something from having
the human experience is kind of moved from it though, because instead of playing against AI, you're just playing against some dude down the road.
Exactly.
You don't have them next to you. Like I've got photos from the event with John and John playing each other in I think it's Point Blank. So you're playing like 2-player and got like photos of like Tannahill elbowing like John out the way and
I did instigate that elbowing, by the way. That was
I just got the photos
me.
of him doing it, so you could have steered clear on that. Like, I don't know what made him do that. But
what's it called when you hit someone with a gun? What's it called?
Pistol whip.
Pistol whip. Thank you. You should have pistol whipped him, bro.
Those guns are too sensitive to do that. It would cost like $500 to do that.
You should have just punched him in the gut.
That was one thing we mentioned that we were talking about when we organised it was, it's not about winning individual events. The winning is surviving the 24 hours of playing arcade, which we all did easily. So,
damn right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Looking back on it, the whole thing was a lot of fun. If you had come to me at 3 o'clock in the morning and said, "Hey, Aaron, are you enjoying yourself?" I would have told you to go fuck yourself. Like I know you all don't like swearing within the podcast, but that would have been.
No, go for it.
You fucking.
The late night session one, mate. It's fine.
But that would have been my response purely for the fact that in that moment, I'm not feeling good, and I think it's somewhat analogous of life and how we go through it. That. We have moments where we don't feel good, but when we look back on it, bugger me, that was, know what? How great was that? And you know what? It was hard. And and it's a bit maybe nonce talking about staying up and playing video games. There's people that go through so much more. But it is analogous of what we go through on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, monthly, yearly basis, and a lifetime basis of trials and tribulations. So... yeah, I couldn't think of a better analogy for life than playing games for 24 hours.
Yeah, and I think it was cool that you mentioned that point because I reckon it was around that time, and we'll show it in the next couple of videos, that you're laying on stage behind the announcer's table.
I was nearly falling. Like,
and,
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I was nearly falling. I had to. So one of the things I was doing, I was like, no joke, I was absolutely seconds from falling asleep, and I was like, so for anyone who hasn't chatted with me, I've got hernias and adhesions in my gut. I'm waiting for some surgery, so I was in a lot of pain, and if I sit, it gets worse because it puts pressure on the areas, and if I stand, I couldn't stand, so I'm like, I'll lay back. But what I was doing is I was like almost like a drummer on the pedals. I was like shaking my legs like crazy to not fall asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but go on. I think I know what you're about to show. It looks like I'm asleep. I'm not.
Yeah, but I was just. I think I turned to you and I said, "We're gonna talk about how much we enjoyed this later," and you just looked at me and you're like.
As Tannahill said, I had the 1,000-yard stare.
Oh, mate, it was awesome. And with that,
but go on.
I'll show us who wants to see 1 a.m.
Yep, let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh,
by
God.
that point, everybody has been playing for that be since 9 a.m. A few hours by then. Everybody was very well set.
14 hours. Was it? No.
Yeah.
9 to 1 is 4. 12 is 15. 15 hours.
Yeah. So over the halfway mark. I think this was the pizza break that we had around that
I had
point.
gluten-free pizza. It was delicious.
Yeah. So I think it was very well timed because by then everyone was pretty hungry and anyway, so I'll
please
show that and Yeah.
This would be 15 hours, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
15 hours in.
Here we are. We've made it to 1 a.m. Everyone's getting into the pizza midnight snack / 1 a.m.
I'm on Miss Pac-Man, of course.
Yeah. Still a really good vibe. I'm surprised. Like, it doesn't seem like it slowed down much.
It did
really
shortly.
Cool. There's still little tournaments and stuff going on, so enough to keep us busy and occupied and whatnot. So, yeah, so far so good.
1 a.m.
Dennis, you sound exhausted. Yeah, a couple of tournaments.
Oh, we hadn't even got to the 3 a.m. Dennis
I know,
yet.
man. I know.
So one thing that was mentioned there was Dennis talked about how the vibes are still happening. Ben Reeves on DJ was just fucking awesome.
Now,
like,
yeah.
it was
I
just
was actually wanting to. I didn't know Ben's name, but thank you for telling us. When Mike and I did it, it was obviously just myself, himself, Phil, and Jimmy who were in the sort of front room. And when music came on, that was like, this is what we needed, and that was very. And the right type of music, this
Yeah.
I wouldn't listen to that music driving in the car, no goddamn way. But to keep you kind of, come on,
Yeah.
brilliant, and
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
really want that again. Would really, really want that
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So just a bit of a backstory behind it. Ben couldn't actually afford a ticket to the event, but wanted to still be able to contribute. So he talked to Jimmy about doing a DJ session, and that's what we got. And everybody in that place was loving it, and it was just awesome for the time and the scene. Like, it was just
perfect.
amazing.
Yeah.
And he went on for ages. It was
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
His set.
Yeah.
You saw that at 6 p.m. when I was showing the.
That's when he started,
the
yeah,
Pong,
and he went until like
the Pong
3 or
sort
4.
of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he went until I reckon 4 a.m. when the taps got turned off.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Actually, I think that's about So
Yeah.
Ben, if anyone's listening, wants to hire a DJ for an event, I'm sure you can get in touch with them.
Hell
maybe
yes.
flash up a little link or something like that on the YouTube
Yeah,
video.
we'll drop some details for Ben.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
absolutely.
I actually, so I'm a bit of a what's the word? I enjoy music,
Doctor?
so so I'm like, I will listen to music from any genre. I'll listen to, box, fifth to Norwegian death metal. Like, I've a really, really big range of music, and I was actually having a chat with Ben saying, da 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 and the other, and I actually asked him for a band called Infected Mushroom, which are an Israeli psytrance band, which are bloody awesome. But he was like, maybe it doesn't fit the what we're going for.
Probably wouldn't fit the vibe, yeah.
No, and you know what? Like, we actually just had a really good chat about music. So you have a party or something, get in touch with them is my only bit of advice.
That's rad.
Because
Yeah.
it was
And I
really
mean,
good.
in all those hours, especially those wee hours of the morning, here we are walking around from, say, arcade cabinet to arcade cabinet to the top. And now here's this guy standing in that one spot on a laptop with his headphones on. You know? I mean, I can't imagine what his feet must have been feeling like by the end of his session.
Kind of like ours by 9 a.m. the next morning, I think.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Fuck. So with that, 1 a.m., does anybody remember basically how they were feeling or just what was sort of going on with them at that point? Because I know, personally speaking, that I didn't feel too bad, though, as was pointed out, I probably did start to sound a bit tired by then. But I didn't feel like I'd hit the wall at that point.
No.
Was still fine, still ticking along, and I think we were still playing comps pretty quick, and everything was still moving. The music was really good, like you said, and the only thing that I had by then, I reckon, was that the pain had started to set in for me because I wore my comfy shoes, but yeah, by then, because we'd been up for 15 odd hours, like mentioned, and that my feet were hurting really bad, and my lower back as well, which isn't normally a problem, but yeah, just the movements that we were doing and everything, and the fact that we're all old blokes now is sort of starts to like take a
Speak for yourself, Codger.
Yeah.
I think at the 1
Except
a.m.
hot sauce guy.
I'm in my prime, man.
So I think at the 1 a.m. I think I bowed out of tournaments because I was like, and more so from I was organizing things, and I'll be totally honest. I was not frustrated. I was tired. I was cranky more so than everything. And I said, you know what? If I go into this and play games, I'm actually going to get angry with people if they come up and ask me to fix match play or put in their scores or something like that. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit this one out. And I actually regret it. I have to admit, I really do. Because it was at that moment where I was like, God, I could fall asleep right now.
Shit.
Whereas
yeah.
if I felt like if I had have continued with it, I probably would have been a bit perkier. But yeah, like the 1 a.m. mark is really when it wasn't the worst, but it was when I knew I was like, whoa, I'm starting to struggle. But yeah, so I think I set out the you don't die without permission, which was another frenzy, and I think a 5-minute frenzy from memory. So yeah.
But for me, like, so the first, like, I was pumped for the first 12 hours. I was like right in it for the first, like, from 9 till 9. I was sweet. But like, I think around 9 o'clock must have been dinner time where we had that meatball sub.
And we came back from your place with the light bar.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So after the drive and then having the meat sub, I was a bit like, like starting to feel it a bit. So instead of joining like the Mario Kart comp,
you went and played some DK.
I went and played some DK because I knew like I just need to sit and focus on something to get back into it. I had a good game too, 650k, not too bad.
Oh wow, with 12 hours in playing games, it's pretty.
Yeah, I was happy with that. But
can you hurry up and kill screen it, please?
Oh.
Anyway, we digress.
Anyway, so by the time that 1 o'clock came around, like I was actually feeling pretty good at this stage still. Still enjoying the beers. They hadn't gone to me too much, and the second feed with the pizzas. And like I said, the music was cranking, and I was still going strong at this point.
No, it was and I think we all kind of hit the wall maybe roughly around the same time, but it kind of so for me, I'm normally in bed by like 9 or 10. I think it's a bit of a joke within the arcade community.
Going to bed's awesome. I love going to bed.
Yeah, but someone will be streaming, and more so Melbourne and Sydney, because I'm an hour ahead. At points they're an hour ahead, and I'll be like, I'm going to bed now, and it's a bit of a joke, but I can deal with lack of sleep.
It's the pain though. I think.
Sorry, my beautiful partner just brought me a glass of wine. Everyone says they love you.
Good job keeping Aaron quiet.
And they said, good job on keeping me quiet.
I've never seen that side of you before, Aaron.
Quiet side?
It's kind of creepy.
Anyway. But so I think everyone maybe hit the wall at a little bit of a different time. But
we'll definitely cover that with the next video, I reckon.
I
think you guys will love it. Mike, how are you going at 1 a.m.?
That's when I was really starting to struggle, just with the anxiety, because the food all came out, and part of it is eating in front of people. I don't know why that was a thing when I first started having a nervous issue. But no, I mean, generally I'm fine. I can eat at Netherworld when everyone's there. It's all good, but so tired, and a mixture of alcohol, a mixture of a bit of caffeine Red Bull as well mixed in, as
Well,
well as a mix.
We should probably be maybe a bit cognizant of that next time around. That
Yeah.
you know, hey, you know, this is a kind of, I mean, God, I'm gonna sound a bit maybe silly and kind of overbearing here, but you know, we have a quiet area for one of for want of a better term. You know, you know what? If you're feeling it, you just you go
think
here
that's a
and
really
it's
good idea.
That's what I actually did. I waited for that front room to be pretty empty. I went in, I found 2 or 3 bits of pizza, and I stood at like the door facing outwards, just looking out, not looking at anyone, just taking my own space, my own time, which is what I need to do. That's how I deal with it. And I managed to get down 2.5 bits of pizza, which half an hour before, when everyone was out there, I couldn't even bite a bit of pizza without feeling sick, which is
I'm sorry to hear you went through that, Mike. I really
fully
understand.
I've dealt with it before. It's just dealing with it, and it's not as bad as it used to be, which is amazing.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
No, I fully get where Mike's coming from, and I got no shame in putting my hand up and saying, I'm right there with him, and Mike and I have had one-on-one chats in the past, and we've mentioned that I too am in that boat where I've had to battle the whole anxiety and depression and things like that a bit. So it's something I've been having to manage and be careful of and work at. And going in, leading up to the death by, I was thinking of my, and I was telling the missus and friends about other people about it. And what I said to them was, oh yeah, well, last year it was just Mike and Aaron, that did the 24-hour thing. So this year, hopefully there'll be us and a few more, like a handful of people, going into it. When I got there and saw that there was not only us awesome 10 arcaders,
all the death by pinball people.
Yeah. When I saw there was 40 death by pinball people there, I'm not going to lie, I was a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah, I was pretty intimidated,
I was intimidated. I will say that openly. Like I honestly was not expecting those numbers for just the pinball alone. I mean, I think 10 of us in the arcade, that was cool. I like that number 10. That's fine. I can live with that. But to have such a packed house of 40 pinballers there at the same time, and as you said, we're all having to go in the one doorway and line, not getting in everyone's way. It was a bit overwhelming. And so I actually think that idea of having just some sort of spot where we can just say when the food's up, for example, food's up, somewhere we can go. It's just get away from the hustle, get away from the sound. I think that is a bloody good idea.
Maybe it might be a good opportunity to take an extra 10 or 15 at that point, and just because I know that again, after the pizza and a couple of I got a couple of pieces, managed to wrangle an almost empty pizza box and got a couple of slices, and then Jimmy did the old, come on, pinball guys, we're going at it again, and then got everybody on, and it's great, keeps people moving. But maybe at that point in the morning, I guess it was morning at that point, that need to look at maybe an extra few minutes to just let everyone collect themselves and move on.
Yeah, well, that was one of the things I recognized. And I think we had another console tournament planned, but for various reasons it didn't happen. And I remember, I think it was Tannahill I was chatting with, and we ended up just doing, all right, free play, just go do what you want to do. And I think that actually, like looking back on it, as much as it was kind of, fuck, I feel like this is a bit of a cop-out just doing a free play because it's not an event, I actually think it worked out kind of well, because it gave people a chance to just, you know what, as much as I love you all, I've been around you for the past 14 hours. I want
to play some Miss Pac-Man.
Or whatever, or you know, I want to go get this pin because we had some new pins released.
No, I'm actually glad you said that, Aaron. That is actually something I wanted to bring up as ideally even more of us. I wanted to bring up as a group conversation about those ideas of this. Next year when we do it again, do we want a bit more just chill time? Do what we want time?
Yeah, I listen. I'll be honest. I still think it should be a bit of a challenge, and I think it should. It should push. I'm cognizant of the point that I'm cognizant of the fact that for some people, it can be a bit overwhelming. and I want those people to be involved as much as possible, and I want to accommodate those people, and I include myself in that. Just saying, but it also should be a bit of a challenge. So I think we need to balance the, hey, if you're not feeling 100%, you can go here, but also if you want to challenge yourself, here are the events. So as much as that free play event was kind of a bit of a cop-out, again, like I was saying, I think it kind of played in well to how we were all feeling. And one thing I have to point out, the difference between sort of maybe the pinball and arcade is that within the pinball, they did have a bit more downtime because they come and sit around. And again, I'm not having a go at pinball. People are saying, oh, they were lazy or anything like that. But there was a lot of time where it's like for pinball people, they were waiting, maybe 15, 20 minutes before they could jump on another game.
That's true.
Yeah, which is awesome because we got to chat with a lot of our friends and, so.
It'd be a different experience though, wouldn't it?
And that's 100%. It. And that's it. And I think I think they're a little bit different, but I still think it should be a challenge. I still think it should push you, and you know what? And I think maybe next time we just make it known that, you know what, if you're not feeling great, that's
Step
fine.
out.
That's it. You know what? If you don't want to participate in any of the events, and I just want to play Time Crisis, I just want to play Gyrus, I just want to play Pong.
I want to try and go for that pin tonight.
Go for it. No dramas. If you can stay up for 24
that's a good
hours,
idea. Having just time to chase pins is like that'd be great if there's like a bounty on pins or something like that. Would be
I think in that event during the pizza, I think is roughly when we said, all right, we'll have some free time, and you can see me on Miss Pac-Man there. I'm not sure who was either side of me, but I was trying
heaps of people watching. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was actually saying, oh, okay, these are some of the techniques you can use to group the ghosts a bit better, and this is how I start the game. This is yada yada. And I think it was Peter and someone else. I can't remember who else, but someone else was chasing the pin.
Blake was out there as well.
Blake.
Yeah. And and I think for that downtime, it was kind of like, and I think actually during that downtime, I think I went and grabbed Sam and was like, hey, can you show me Tron? Because the tanks, I just don't understand. And he showed me how to do the tanks and stuff.
Yeah, I still don't.
Those tanks can go suck a dick.
Yep. Fuck you, tanks. Just saying.
So again, I think it went from, and it kind of backed onto that relay and into the bit more cooperative, which was just cool for want of a better term.
On that, should we head into 3 a.m. territory?
Let's do it.
You.
Really?
Let's revisit it.
It's the best time.
Oh, well, it's 3 a.m. and I think that we're all starting to hit a wall.
JT was looking very
good. I am. Except John. John's fine.
Fine is a strong word.
It's a relative word at this time of the morning. Any of us fine? Fuck. Crazy. Yeah, super tired. Time for some painkillers.
I forgot I did that. Yeah. True.
Yeah. And I think at that moment I had a bit of a stuff up with Match Play and deleted one of the events by mistake. I was able to recover it and stuff like that. And but I think there was like 2 games that I dropped, and I had to go like who won so and so to people. That kept me on my toes.
Damn.
Listen, again, like I was saying very, very early on, we learned a lot. We learned absolutely tons, and I think, I've had a chat with Mike and Neil about this, and I think we pretty much have the format for next year already sorted. Building on what we thought worked well, what we thought didn't. I'm excited. I'm sure Mike and Neil are too.
Definitely. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One thing about the and I even mentioned this on the night to someone, not sure, but with the match play, hey, you had the laptop there set up, Aaron, with the match play going with the different formats, the different things. One thing I do think worked really well was the fact that with a lot of it, the fact that the individual people or the two people into whatever could just walk up to that laptop and sort their own shit out.
Yeah, that was good.
The fact that you didn't have to be there going, oh, okay, which one of you won?
Yeah.
You know, people, the fact that you had it like that.
We worked on just an honesty system, and I think you know.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to do for next year is just maybe get a cheap tablet and have it set up, because I think some people just because I use Mac, and it's just what I've used for the past 15 years of my life, so I make no apologies. But it is a little bit different in terms of how you do things. So sometimes people would
go to double click.
So I wouldn't mind getting like a tablet or or just even a cheap PC or something like that. Just something people are more familiar with that they can come up and do it. But so I know Tyson uses his screen's actually touch screen, and I think that is ideal because touch screens are kind of like, oh yeah, I need to go here, I need to go there.
Boop, boop,
so I might try and for next year, I've got an iPad, which I'll probably I'll try and set it up. It's a little bit it's just old. It just needs to be plugged. It's just the battery shit on it. But I might try and bring that along and get maybe a nice little case that I can just sort of sit there. And I think that would be a better way of doing it. But then also have the computer on the back end that if anything goes wrong or something like that, it's just a quick, easy fix.
For sure.
But I agree. I think working sort of just on an honesty system. We're not playing for big money or big points or anything like that. So yeah.
So Mikey, how are you at 3 a.m. from that point? Can you step us through what was happening, or?
I was much better. Yeah, it was sort of coming in waves for me. So I would like dip down. I'd probably it felt like I was down for a long time. When in retrospect, it was probably 10 minutes max.
Yeah.
And then I'd be back out for 50 minutes, feeling absolutely fine. But just because those low points were so low, I just felt like it dragged on forever.
Shit.
But the thing was, I didn't want to stop playing games. I didn't want to stop socializing, interacting. So that's what kept me going. It was like
I did.
Oh.
But that's good as, man.
Yeah, and that's what really kept me going. It's just the hanging out, interacting, socializing, talking, teaching games, learning some new bits and pieces from people, and just the whole atmosphere it made the times when I was feeling shit did not make him feel as bad as it would have otherwise. Yeah.
Was it me deciding to challenge John at MKII and Street Fighter 2? Was that what pulled you out of the? Do you think? Because it put me in it.
That was pretty funny.
I think that was more. I saw Dennis doing single player on the Street Fighter 2 cab, and I thought, well, this
isn't going to fly with me.
That's not going to fly. No. You don't play a fighting game single player against the AI. Like, come on, that's not what fighting games are for.
For everybody in podcast land, I was getting fucking destroyed as well. So
dude, the AI in Street Fighter is there's actually I don't know if y'all follow what's his name? I think it's Modern Vintage Gamer. On YouTube.
Yeah, he's good.
He recently did a video about Mortal Kombat 2 about how it cheats.
Input reading, son of a bitch.
And it's really good. It is really, really interesting. Yeah. But a lot of the games in the sort of mid to late 90s did it. Because it wasn't.
They're designed to chew your coins.
Exactly, sure are. Exactly. Mentioning any names, Neo Geo.
Mate, I played a lot of Neo Geo as a kid with my dad's money when camping, and that I must have run him broke. Because they are designed to chew your coins. And no, I'm glad you said Mortal Kombat 2, Aaron. I mean, we talked about the AI in Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 AI, it's got nothing on Mortal Kombat 2. There is
I beg to differ.
Really?
Yeah.
Fight.
Man, I love Mortal Kombat 2, as all of you know. I love
Guys, is
playing
Neil
against-
asleep?
No,
I think
brother,
he's
I'm here.
asleep. I think he's asleep. Yeah. He survives 24-hour
I'm trying
death
to-
by, but he can't survive the podcast.
I'm trying to feel the vibes of 3 a.m.
Oh, okay,
Death
cool.
by Arcade. Yeah.
But no, I mean, as much as I love Mortal Kombat 2 and love versing anybody who'll have a crack at it, there's a reason why not one of you will ever see me standing there on my own playing against the AI. Because
It's
it's
shit at the
utter bullshit. It is nothing but utter bullshit.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about
I'll
bullshit.
send you, Mike, John. Sorry, I'll send you through the link to that video if you've not seen it.
I haven't
so
actually
good.
yet. I haven't yet.
It's
I've been meaning to
it's
watch
really
it.
good. Oh, it's bullshit. It cheats. It legit
Oh yeah.
cheats.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I know that without even seeing this dude's
Mm.
video. Like I could have told you that without seeing the video. And that's why you'll never see me play single player on Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah. So I think it's a funny point to take a snapshot of what happened at the event at that point, because I think after taking that video, I don't remember what really happened from about the 3 a.m. point through till probably early 5:30 sort of ish a.m. There was like, I don't know if you guys got like a similar experience, but it was just that time of the morning where I'm pretty sure I was just off with the Pixies. That window just disappeared. I made it, obviously, because when I snapped out of it, I was still there. But yeah, the fatigue really kicked in. I was sore.
I remember talking to you, Dennis, and you were like, "Oh, yeah, nah, I think."
That sounds like me.
Yeah, and dude, I was the same, man. I was absolutely the same. But I don't think you were alone in how you felt. To be honest, man, it's hard. It's freaking hard.
I remember at that point I was sitting there because I'd taken a few videos and I was sitting there on the stage next to you. I was recharging my phone. I remember that much, and that we were talking about a couple of things, and I was watching everybody play Mario Kart, and I was probably a little more despondent than I would normally be. And then it was sort of around that time that John and I played Street Fighter 2 first, and then MK2. And Street Fighter 2 was just the low kicks just got me so bad. So yeah, I think how many games did we go through? It was like at least a dozen games.
I can't even remember, man, but I do remember spamming the shit out of Ken's low toe on you.
There's so much low toe, it was fucking ridiculous. And I wasn't mad at you because you could do it. Like that's how you like.
No, and I could tell that. I could actually, even at that moment,
there was a tactic.
You weren't angry at me at all. You were just angry at the fact that you even said to me at one point during your moment of anger that
Which one?
Yeah, no, I know, right? Pick one. Yeah, I was getting a giggle out of your rage because I love fighting game rage at the best of times, and you were raging very pure and honest. I loved it. But the fact that you were raging at the fact that, oh no, not that I was beating you, but the fact that you had to figure it out.
The fact.
Yeah.
Go on anyway.
The fact. But what was pissing Dennis off was the fact that something was happening, and he needed to know what to do to get around it.
Yeah, because he just sit there and low toe me, and I lost game after game.
You should have just punched him in the side of the head.
Time of the morning. Just a thumb to the ribs and give him a prod.
I think he was this close to getting to that point. I'm not sure if it was around.
At one point, I was like through the swearing and the probably the wave of bad vibes that came over me at that point, and I turned to John. I'm like, "What do you do? Like, how do you beat that? Like, the damage that it does, and like you can't jump in, you can't walk forward. You're special, and it'll just you can block it in a low toe." Yeah, it was nuts. So then we went to MK2, and it was worse. So,
oh yeah.
But at least I can play MK2. I did play a lot of Mortal Kombat, so at least I know like enough to be able to win a couple of rounds. So that was fine. Like I'm playing against John, who's really accomplished at these games, and I was just like, I'm not going to win that. But I did win a couple of rounds, even though I did get annihilated. So that was okay. That was fine.
That's awesome, man.
Good times.
Rounds?
Good time of the morning. Fuck.
Yeah.
I don't
yeah.
remember that.
And Neil, 3 a.m. What did you get up to?
We started to get tired, starting to get sore. I
Yep.
remember like, it was too tired for jokes. I walked up to someone, I can't remember who it was, and they're like, "How you feeling?" I'm like, "Oh, my legs are really sore, but being a tall guy, my back doesn't hurt at all." And sarcasm just went completely over their head. I remember, like I said, I was having like
that was actually me, Neil, FYI.
Oh, right.
I love. Sorry, I hate to interrupt you, Neil, but I love how a lot of these conversations and anecdotes were like, I don't know who I said it to, but
Yeah, totally. I remember coming out of the bathroom, and like I was obviously just like, I think it was more about like the 5 o'clock in the morning, and Mitch was trying to get past me, but like I obviously was completely oblivious to the fact that anyone was like trying to get past me, and he literally like grabbed my shoulders and then moved me to the side, and I didn't react at all. Like there was just no reaction from me. And he's like, "Oh
Yes,
shit,
Daddy.
are you okay, dude?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And just like walked off. Like it was just...
and a big g'day to Mitch as well,
Oh,
as one of
yes.
the people who was key in
Legend.
running that. So
absolute legend. I love that man. I absolutely freaking love that man. A lot of time for him. I really do.
He's a good egg, that Mitch.
Oh yeah.
You guys want to see like 5 to 5 in the morning as we carried on with that?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's see it.
It's pretty wild. No, not really. Set's still going.
4:55 a.m. We're still
So
playing
I guess
comps.
Moon Patrol.
So John and I are indulging in a little moon patrol. Surprisingly still, but we're both still coherent at this time, which I'm pretty impressed with. Everybody else is still around and no one's really tuck it out and head home.
I did think about it.
Everyone who started has pretty much stuck around from what I can see, which is kind of cool. Nice to see that everybody's going all right. Yeah. More on that later.
One of the greatest things was
man.
I didn't get much out of John. It was just the all I can hear is just the button pushing the whole
ding,
time.
ding, 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 ding. Well, that's because Mike Cooligan was good enough to show me a bit of a tactic of that game, and he made it look lovely and easy. Like all you got to do is just press forward and go tap, 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 and tap and tap and tap and tap, and that's all you got to do. And I try it, and I go tap, 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 die.
Boom.
Okay, I'll try again. Tap, 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 die. So I was really trying, but I was.
Oh man.
I tell you what, at that like no joke, at that kind of 5:30. I think probably around the 5:30, I was starting to get my second win, and I was like, come on, it's my getting close to my wake up time. We'll get going. But that kind of like 4 to 5, I no joke was contemplating going home, and I was seriously like, if I go home now and just have like a few hours sleep, could I come back in for like the end of it and apologize to everyone, but tell everyone, and I'm so glad I decided not to go home. Oh man,
man.
If I had have gone home, I would never forgive myself. I really wouldn't. So I'm glad I didn't, but I was so close to it. I really, really was. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
I was even contemplating sort of going downstairs. So Netherworld, for everyone who's not listening, the staff room is downstairs. I was so contemplating going down there on the couch and just having a bit of a nap. And just like, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah. I think with with how everybody was at that time of the morning, I don't think anyone would have noticed, to be honest. I think everyone was just focused on a solo mission at the moment of just trying to get through. And I just, I think if you took like an hour to go, it probably would have.
Yeah, man. I concur, but it was it was a lot of fun though,
Oh hell yeah. And
I'm
so
not
at that point,
sure.
it was about maybe 45 minutes before dawn. So we've been
And
through a lot.
it's a good time. And something I said to a lot of people was, as the sun's coming up, just go outside and get a little bit of sun. Like, because that's one I remember doing the 24-hour Donkey Kong event, and I can't remember what it was, but it was just I was just feeling like, I think it was kind of like I was just feeling a bit stuffy in there, and I said, "Oh, I'm just gonna go outside and get a bit of fresh air." And I went out, and the sun was just coming up, and it kind of just was like, your circadian rhythms kicks in, and you're like, "Oh yeah, it's daytime. I'm supposed to be doing
daylight."
something."
Fuck.
Yeah,
That's
and
a good point.
I remember saying it to a lot of people, and not just within the arcade group, but the pinball group. Just go outside. If the sun's up, just go have a quick. It really does help. So I have to come up with some sort of sunshine simulator. I would call it the sunshine bulb. So no, I reckon that was a big thing as well. When you start wanting to wake up and get your second wind, you go out, get a bit of fresh air, a bit of sun. As the sun's just coming up, go for it.
Maybe next year, Aaron. Why don't we legit make that a thing on your calendar? Like, make that an actual thing.
Go out and stretch your legs outside.
Like, as in, everyone's got to do it.
Everyone embraces the morning sun.
Maybe
like
a rooftop competition.
Yeah. No.
Okay, we finished that format of whatever the hell that was. Oh, look at that! Yeah, sun's up. Okay, everyone outside. 10 minutes.
Here's at dawn.
Yeah.
I like that.
One thing that definitely stuck with me as a little memory was during the 3-minute frenzy, which what sort of time was the 3-minute frenzy again? Remind me, please.
It's like 6 till 9, I think it was.
Yeah,
like
that was the
ending
last one. The last
it was
one
the very
was,
last event.
Okay, because during that 3-minute frenzy, that's when I definitely vividly remember getting caught up with myself and Dennis, and we had to go do gyrus. And I remember saying to Dennis, "Hey, come on, Dennis, you, me, mate, we got to get on gyrus." And Dennis was just literally like, "For fuck's sake!" and I said to Dennis, "It's okay, mate. It's only 3. It's a 3-minute frenzy." He's like, "It's 3 minutes too long."
It's 3 minutes too long.
He was done.
I definitely had a few moments like that with other people, and I'm sure some people had moments like that with me. I think there's that just sort of mutual understanding that, hey, we're all struggling. But
it was interesting.
We're in this together.
I remember that instance because Sam had the same thing with me when we had to go and play Crazy Taxi, and I'll tell you why. I think you guys, I've probably already mentioned it anyway, but for everyone listening to the podcast, that match play for some reason in the last event kept setting me on the same 3 games over and over. And so I found myself in the spot where I was happy to play the game still. I was sore and tired, but I still wanted to keep moving because I knew if I stopped, it was just going to be all over. So, so what happened was that it put me on 3 games, and 3 games that I'm not very good at and don't particularly enjoy. So I got put on Ice Cold Beer, Crazy Taxi, and
Gyrus, I think it was
Gyrus
for you
as well.
Yeah,
and so I was on those 3, and
it's one thing I'd like to look at. So there are settings within match play that. So there is one setting where if you lose it, you go on it again, but then after that you don't do it until you've had like 2 wins in a row or some. I don't know what it is, but it is. And again, that's my fault. I'm sorry for that.
I don't think so at all. I think it was just the draw that match play was generating for me at that point, because there was numbers of games, numbers of people, and wins and losses, and it just worked out through the way that the games were being played, people winning and losing, and the way that the draw worked, that I kept getting put back on these games. And in the end, John, unfortunately, and I do apologize for it, at that point in the morning, I was just like,
I'm done.
And
take me out.
No, but honestly,
I would have been happy to play another game, but not fucking Crazy Taxi again.
But the funny thing is, I remember this clearly. Even at that moment, Dennis, like you will, when I came up to you and said, "Okay, mate, 3-minute, it was 3-minute frenzy, and it was you and me on Gyrus. We got to go do our 3 minutes on Gyrus, and you went from, for fuck's sake, it's 3 minutes too long. But once we were there in front of that cab and we were actually going for it, man, you were in there. You were in there, and you were even watching me, and you were like, "Oh, dude, yeah." You were even getting into me as a spectator, watching me play. Like, so once we actually got to there, and you're in that zone of playing the game,
I didn't get a get away from the machines at that point.
No.
So I got one of those early on from Dave, which was good. So it's like, for that time of the morning, man, I think it was from 3 a.m. onward, everybody seemed to have their challenges and slightly different parts, and that was definitely the wall for me at that point.
For me, absolutely my lower back at those early hours of the morning. Man, I remember trying to just stand still and literally bend over and try and, like as if you're reaching for your toes to get my back fit, and my back felt like it was made out of a 2x4. Like it was just so stiff and so sore. Like, crazy.
I think I shared it with everyone there, so I don't mind sharing it with everyone on the podcast. My gooch was on fire. Like, if there was a piece of,
I remember you saying, and I wasn't sure if you were being facetious or not, but the fact that you're saying it again makes me feel like you should go see a doctor.
Oh, not at all. No, he just needed a change. That's all.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know what? Do a wet wipe shower, and just go for it, and it's really good. It's the same with flying or anything like that. You do the exact same thing, and it works. It works really well, and it does kind of perk you up a bit and just makes you feel a bit more. Fuck yeah, let's do this.
Feel a bit.
And as silly as it might be, it's kind of it's yeah.
No, it's legit. Yeah, because I changed my shirt halfway through, and that felt refreshing.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that jocks were a must. I felt.
Mate, bit of talcum powder. So again, anyone out there, if you're ever doing a long haul flight or anything long haul, have a shower. Like literally 20 minutes before you're about to leave to do the thing, talcum powder. On every crevice of your body, talcum powder. Take it from someone who's done this a lot. Talcum powder, man. Just get it on you.
All right.
Right on.
Anyway.
So, if you want to know what the refreshing smell is in Death by Arcade 2023,
it's the refreshing smell of talc.
Fresh as a daisy.
Neil Carroll's patented lava-infused fucking talcum powder.
I was definitely not joking. That was serious gooch situation, and I got into boxes as soon as I got home.
That explains the photo at
and the smell.
8 a.m. I mentioned that with you and Mike that I took over the other side of. You guys were standing there at Burger Time, and I took a photo. I was like, "Hey," and Mike's, and then it was just.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
The stare. It's like, maybe there was just smoke rising from Neil's pants.
Yeah. They might have to get their fire alarms checked out at Netherworld. It's like there's some serious heat happening.
Oh man, crazy
stuff. I really found bringing the toothbrush and toothpaste with me was like another refreshing, splash your face, wash it, give you, just clean your face up. Brush your teeth.
No, agreed, man. Agreed, 100%. 100%.
Every time I went to the loo, the splash of water on the face, was just, it was mandatory because, I felt myself sort of slipping, like, okay, I got to go and wake myself up and go and take care of your necessaries, wash your face and everything, and then, man.
Imagine how it is for the guys and gals who marathon games, and do it for 3 days.
Yeah.
I would love to do it for the sake of saying I've done it, but I would not enjoy any aspect of it whatsoever.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. There's something about those endurance things I got a bit of a hard on for, I have to admit. I don't know what it is, but just being able
to love pain. Yep.
Anyway, we'll talk.
Well,
I have no idea what his name was, and it's probably a good thing to be quite honest, so I don't accidentally repeat it. But there was a young gentleman doing the death by pinball, and I'd never seen him before. Yeah, and I'm going to take a stab and say he was probably one of the youngest people there of the night, and full of beans, full of everything, full of everything,
I know
full of
his
life.
name.
You know,
I know who it is.
You know who it is?
We all know who you're talking about.
Okay,
Go on.
all right. Well, one of the things I noticed about him was that, when we're talking about, 24 hours, how are we all going to go, and yada yada yada, talking about it like early on, leading into it, and he made a point of really, saying things like, this is going to be a breeze. I sit at home playing Destiny for like 3-4 days straight, in a row, and I'm like, okay, I do not want to smell your room.
Yeah, cool story.
Or his gooch.
Yep.
Yeah, or his gooch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like some people, are just built for it, I suppose, for want of a better term. Just absolutely designed to do things over long periods of times. I remember during university, like I don't know, I was a lot younger, I suppose, back in the day, but I'd do like 3 days with no joke, I used to sleep under my desk and sleep for about like 3-4 hours, jump back up and straight back into the lab.
Okay.
And I'd do that without too much hassle, but
not now.
I don't know, different beast with kind of, I don't know. It's weird. Like I reckon I could stay up for 24 hours doing chemistry, like with none of the issues that I had during Death by Arcade, but doing it with something that requires a different type of focus, maybe is what I'm trying to say. I assume it's the same for the pinball people. It's just it's a different beast.
I'd love to hear from the pinball guys actually on their experience too. That's a really good point.
We should have gotten one of them on the podcast actually. In hindsight, maybe in some time in the future. But
yeah, something actually that just sprung to my mind, which I meant to bring up earlier and I forgot. But one of the things about the pinball guys, Belinda was one of them who came up.
Oh, she's a gun.
Yeah. And
she's done them all.
Yeah, and she was showing me the marks and the bruises or the callus or whatever you want to call it on her hands from all the pinball. And we made a bit of a joke about it. She's like, you arcade guys, you got but the funny thing is, and John Tannahill and myself had a joke about this literally on the drive home the following morning in my backpack.
With your mum?
Yeah, with my mum. Yeah, with my mum. And one of the things I had in my backpack, which I did not actually get out and use at any point, but I honestly thought I might need them, is I brought some, they're technically mountain bike gloves, fingerless, with the padding.
Oh, yeah.
Fingerless mountain bike gloves with the padding on the palm.
That's
That's
a very good idea, dude.
I brought them thinking, crap, I might need these, after 15 hours of arcade action. I didn't need them. I did not need them.
Well, I think it's in King of Kong, one of the guys talking about how he used to use weightlifting gloves for games like Marble Madness and stuff like that.
Yeah, the trackball games.
Trackball games.
Tannahill mentioned that in the drive back when I was mentioning this, and JT also said to me when I mentioned that, I didn't bother bringing the gloves out. I didn't actually need them after all, blah, blah, blah. And he said to me, man, it's a good thing you didn't. You just avoided a lot of ridicule.
Well, I think it's interesting. I think it's I think with pinball, because, and I might be kind of, opening myself up for the pinball people who want to listen to the podcast, that I think with pinball, and this is just from my own experience with pinball, it's not easy in the sense that the games are easy. It's very kind of, okay, I do the thing, I get the score, I stack up my multipliers and stuff like that. And that's very, the mindset you have between games, although it's different between each game of how you get that, the strategy is very similar. And I could be wrong, and if someone wants to, at Aaron Raynor me on Facebook, I'm happy to listen to it. But to me, it seems that the mindset, so mentally, maybe you don't become as exhausted with pinball, but physically you're just you're out of it. Whereas the reverse might be true for arcade machines, where physically, you're doing that, and it's not that much, it's not that hard, but mentally you're this ship's gonna go over here, therefore I need to be here and shoot here while this ship's coming down so that I can get me double dive to get the extra points. And and again, that will happen with pinball, and obviously the buttons will happen with arcade games as well. But it seems to me, at least from my observations, that the arcade side of things, you become more mentally drained. Yes. Whereas with the pinball machines, you become more physically drained. And not to say that you don't become mentally drained with pinballs and you don't become physically drained with the arcade side of things, but the disparity between the two is inversely proportional to the both. If that makes sense, you know.
Yeah. No, I actually think that's actually a relatively fair statement. I think you're sort of onto something there,
and very broad. I don't want to.
It is broad.
I don't want to say it's easier. One's easier than the other.
Oh no, no.
Really hard.
They've got their
hard.
They have got their own challenges. Let there be no mistake about that. And
of course,
I've said this a million times, and I'll say it again. I suck ass at pinball. I am not built for. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about my brain, my reflex. I don't know I am just not built for pinball. As much as I love them, I think pinball machines are great.
Likewise, man. Yeah.
As a thing, I love them. I love looking at them, and I'll have a bit of a play just for shits and giggles. But I dramatically suck at them. But no, even only a matter of days ago at work, I managed to bump into Gary down the street. We were getting lunch at the same place. So I bumped into Gary. We were talking about how do we go with the 24-hour event, and even he said to me, "Man, after that 24 hours of pinball, like his wrists were killing him."
I heard, and I've heard the same from a lot of the pinball people. Yeah.
There you go. Anyone else got anything to add on the time before we kick on with this, Mikey?
No, just brushed my teeth that time of morning. It was good. Felt good, refreshed.
I was very impressed with the organisation level that you kept up through the whole event, mate. It was quite a sight to behold that Mike was there with his change, and
he had a shave halfway through and all.
He very well could have.
But I did bring my yoga mat though for my dodgy back as well. So I got
you mentioned that. You were like
two solid stretch sessions, and that kept my back happy.
I just thought you took it a little bit too far with the foot spa at the end. Mike. That
maybe next year go.
And you had that pedicure and the masseuse come in.
Yeah, the guy rocked
and then
up
he
at the bed
disappeared
for
for 15 minutes with said masseuse, and it was like, ooh.
And then
this is an event, guys.
The acupuncture guy rocked up, asking, "Where's Mike?" Like, what the hell?
Bring a Shark Tea mat for everyone next year, for sure.
I was physically feeling perfect then.
I'm not even joking. I would be so keen. Like, if you think about it, if we had so there was 40 arcade people and 40 pinball people and 10 arcade people. So it's 50 people. So if you hired a masseuse to come in for, say, 4 hours so that everybody got like a 5-minute massage.
I'm in.
Dude,
that would be a sleep.
Shoulders and neck.
Would that be like? I'm not even joking.
Dude, I am in.
There's Aaron on that side going. It's something. It's an event that we want everybody. We want it to be an experience for people to endure it. Also, Aaron, we should get a massage for everybody.
I'm turning into a day spa, gents. Anyway. Sorry.
Free mani-pedis for everyone.
Oh man!
Honestly, the way my back was feeling, that's something I'm going to be taking with me into next year and the next one mentally. If you can't organize a professional masseuse, I will pay you. To give me a massage. I will love a massage.
You heard it first on the Play It Up podcast.
Yeah, you heard it first. John
next
McIntyre.
Death by, if you're out to make a quick buck.
Frequen's massage parlor.
Yeah, through the whole event, I had to stretch my neck and my shoulders quite a bit to keep them from turning into rocks.
I think a lot of people were like that. Yeah, again, it's one of those things where if you're standing in a position for such a yeah, and it doesn't matter that it's for it's short periods over long amounts of time. You just we should tell Gary not to do death by anything, and we'll get him to give massage because he loves giving massages. That guy. I've sometimes, like, no joke, I've been sometimes playing a game and someone will come and start massaging me.
Some magic hands just set upon you.
He does. He has magic hands, doesn't he? He legit does. I'm sure we've all experienced that at one point.
I haven't yet.
No.
I haven't experienced that yet.
Oh,
I'm
is this
gonna have to
just
talk to
me?
Gary
You're
about
just
that.
special, Doctor, your lordship. It was, I think that. That's
Okay.
all
right. Gary
you
likes.
get.
Okay. All right. It's just me. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well,
it's just
we'll
a special thing you guys have, and
we'll cut this from the podcast. And
no. This is getting
this is
a
going
section.
in. But no,
So-
it's interesting, the challenges and the ways you combat those challenges and stuff. It was such a cool event. I'm so glad, you all rocked up, and there was and you know what? A big shout out, and maybe not listening to podcasts, but if they do, V and Blake, two people I had, I had nothing
on.
You know what?
Yeah.
And those are the type of people I really, really, really want to come up to the next one.
Definitely,
Definitely,
man.
It's just, you know what? Love you all. Love the whole vibe, the whole everything. It's just, really is. It's awesome. It's
that's one of
awesome.
for me personally. That's one of the best things about the whole community. Be it Netherworld, be it One Up. Hopefully, I'm allowed to say it on this podcast. But
Dennis, you want to boot John there? He mentioned the One Up arcade.
Mentioned One Up arcade, yeah.
But one of the things I love about this community is honestly those situations where you are meeting those new faces. You've never seen them before. They pop up out of nowhere. You get to know who they are, and they're like, hey, they're keen to join in on this or join in on that. And next thing, they're coming back a month later and the following month, and they become a part of the community and part of what's going on. And that is, for me, the best part of it.
For my side of things, just being a Netherworld aficionado, I'd like to give a big shout out to Tyson, who's been running the arcade, the arcade club for as long as I can remember, and that is up until very, very recently, it was free because I think they're doing kind of prizes with it now. But I think your first one's free if anyone wants to come along, and it's $10, and I won't say. Do you get a drink token? I can't remember. No, you don't. Okay, I think it's $10, and you rock up and you play a whole heap of games, but you get, I think, $10 worth of tokens at the end.
Yeah,
you still get that. Okay, thanks, Mike. So you come, you pay $10, you get $10 worth of tokens, and the opportunity to win a voucher and some drinks tokens and stuff like that. But that in itself, and little monsters that they chuck on is just awesome.
You guys want to watch the last video?
I would.
I'm keen.
Dennis,
let's get to it.
Dennis, sorry, just before, would you like to put on the last video there so that we can watch it and all get
sorry, Aaron. Yeah.
Like, Dennis, not to be rude, but when
thanks for reminding me.
Video,
all right, man.
Yeah, this must be the one of the strippers, surely.
It's 8:05 a.m. So we went through the morning through to lunch, evening.
This was when I was like fucking buzzing.
Yeah. Everybody kicked it up from about 6:30.
Yeah, I agree.
In the morning.
We all kind of got our third wind by that stage.
No, absolutely.
We were peaking. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. Oh well, let's
yes, please, Dennis.
58 minutes to go, Mike.
Still going with tournaments. There's Aaron in the background.
Alrighty. Well.
We got nothing to say.
This video is like
an hour to go in competition until we get all the presentation stuff and then get the fuck out of here. Hey, you can get your Easter eggs, Neil.
Where's the
eggs?
Bishy bashy.
Bishy bashy. You don't like Nicky Bad.
Oh man,
that is
the best
classic.
fucking- Oh
is
my
so
god,
good.
This is like, yeah. And here are some games. Here's a person. Yeah.
Oh my god, Dennis, I need,
That was gold.
I need to get a copy
Oh
of
my
that one,
God.
man.
What
That
was
is
great was like
good.
the first 5 seconds. Mike, what do you reckon? Fuck.
Neil can barely pronounce his own name. He's like on another planet.
Where's the beef?
Don't even
I'm
have a
half
slogan.
asleep on the stage.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That's classic.
So for everybody in podcast land,
Oh my
that's
god.
what you end up like after you're playing video games for a day.
Don't do
Yeah.
it.
You're fucked up.
Who would have
So-
thought that sleep's important in 24 hours?
It sure is. Yeah, so there were no subsequent videos following that because I think that after the event ended and the presentations, I actually didn't remember to stick around. I remember getting my badge from Aaron saying thank you and going, oh guys, yeah, we've made it. Woo, I've got to go. And then I don't remember leaving. I remember standing outside and getting picked up by Kathleen and still holding my badge. And it was just, yeah, I don't know if anybody had a similar experience to that. But
Oh, I'm really sorry, guys. I completely I got my badge and just went home, completely forgetting to do any packing up or anything. So I felt so bad, but it was just due to lack of sleep and not thinking straight.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, there was not much packing up done by us. We sort of,
What the fuck? I spent the last 45 minutes packing up your bollocks.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I was wandering around.
Shit.
I was packing up
man.
Pong. I was packing up Mario Kart.
Yeah, because the
I was
Wii was
putting
there.
TVs
The
away. I was setting the 64s back. Not that I care. I'm happy to do it. Seriously, I couldn't care less. But and I even said to Jimmy, I was like, I think I looked at Jimmy and I was like, "You need me to come back and help, And he was like, "Nah, mate." I went home. So for those again, so this will be a bit funny. The morning of Death by Arcade, as in the following day, was my missus's birthday. So I met herself and some family, some of our friends for coffee on my way home. And I fell asleep at the table.
oh shit.
Oh, dude,
That's bad.
I slept. I'm not joking. I slept for about 20 hours. I think I fell asleep, and I think I woke up around dinner time. And no joke, I would have been awake for 15, 20 minutes. Had something to eat and went back asleep and woke up the next morning at 7 or 8, and I felt great. I was absolutely fine. But yeah, it was interesting to say the least. Yeah.
I did. I tried to stay awake, so I got home and took care of the kids, and I stayed awake till 6 o'clock at night.
That's good effort.
And then I went to bed, and I must have been asleep for about an hour, and Jen comes running in and is like, "Neil, there's a snake in the house."
What?
And so apparently the kids are just sitting down on the couch.
I'm sorry, dude. That's the fucking best thing I've heard all year.
We've lost Aaron. Everyone's lost Aaron.
Aaron's gone.
Jen,
Oh my god.
Jen and I,
Difficulties.
Jen and the kids were sitting down watching TV, and Heidi was just stood up and looked in front of the TV, and she's like, "Is that a worm or a snake?" And Jen, hearing that, gets up immediately. It was like, "It's a snake," and Heidi just absolutely fucking loses it. Heidi's 5, so Jen ends up just grabbing the kids, putting something on our TV in our room, and just putting the kids in the bed with me while I'm just half asleep and dealing with the snake. downstairs on her
Jen
own.
dealt with the snake.
So yeah, she
Oh
she
god, that must have been so emasculating for you.
Not really, dude. I was half fucking asleep.
Didn't know,
I'm
didn't
not
know
waking
this
up.
happened at all.
Yeah, so but like the next day,
What type of snake was it?
I forget. I don't know what it was. I remember they said it was like it would hurt a child, and like hurt a pet, but like they said it's like it is venomous, but it's not going to kill anyone.
Right.
Okay.
So anyway, Jen ends up getting a snake catcher. Snake catcher comes out and grabs it. But waking up the next day after that and thinking like,
where's the fucking snake?
No, I was like, did it even happen?
Yeah.
Like, it was just like
a dream.
Like,
Fucking surreal.
like, am I just like was it like a realistic dream?
Can I just say I fucking love this country. I really do. It's like I might. Yeah, I know you've been awake for 24 hours. All right, there's a fucking snake in the lounge room.
Come sort it out. Yeah. Fuck.
Oh
That's bad.
man, I fucking love Australia so much.
So yeah, that was my experience. It was
Oh
really
my
bizarre. Just
Wow.
bizarre.
Well, that is unique, Neil.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I don't think anybody else can say that they did that.
Oh,
Like
No.
I came home and
No.
I had a cup of tea, and I thought, I might try and stay awake. But 10 minutes in, I was like, nah, going to bed.
No.
And
I
then
had some
I think
diarrhea and I fell asleep. It
about
was
12
great.
hours later, I woke up and it was like 8 o'clock at night. And I was like, now I'm fucked. It's slept the whole
Yeah.
day. So
Yeah, I know my body. Like I know my body really well, and like if I did that, I would have serious troubles like getting my body clock right. So I thought by staying up as much as I could and like getting to that 6 o'clock. Like by the time it was 6 o'clock, I was like, "Fucking, I am going to bed."
done. Yeah.
And then like I wake
I
up
think-
at about 10 o'clock the next day, and like I've been right as rain since. So.
Yeah. I think for when myself and Mike did it, I tried to do the same thing where so with jet lag, right? Whenever you like, so I've flown back to Ireland a couple of times, and I've always like I'm a big firm believer that like just push through until nighttime. Like I don't care what fucking time you arrive at, but that's like nighttime when you go to sleep when you travel and shit like that. But with this, I was like with Mike, I tried to. When I did the 24-hour event with Mike, I tried to do the same thing, and I think I fell asleep at like about 12 or something, and a similar thing. When I did the 24-hour Donkey Kong event, it was a bit different in the sense that I wasn't as tired, I have to admit, from the Donkey Kong one as I was from the 24-hour one I did with Mike. And I was like, oh, I don't really want to go to sleep. And I think I went to sleep at about maybe 2 or 3, and then maybe woke up around dinner time, had something, and went back to bed. But with this one, I went to sleep like almost the second I got home, and then woke up for dinner. Woke up for about 15 minutes, ate, went back to sleep, and slept through until the next morning, man. And I was fine. But I think that's right. You got to know your own body and know what will work for you. Adam Newton, he said something similar to me that if he was to go to sleep, he was buggered for a few days apparently, so
he just recovered from I think he had
he
COVID.
did actually, the poor bloke.
Yeah.
He just gotten over the Rona, so
Back.
And that really does.
What about you,
knock
Mr.
you.
McIntyre? How'd you go?
Mate, it was a very interesting one. I mean, when Mumsy came and picked me up, me and JT, and on that drive home, I remember thinking to myself, wow, it's surprising how alert and not tired I feel right now. I should go to 1UP or something. I'm just full of me, Yeah, what else are we doing, guys? That's how I felt on the drive, leaving Netherworld and on the drive home. By the time we dropped JT off at his house, got back to my house, I would say roughly half an hour later after getting home, I bang. was
Yeah.
gone.
I think you get a bit of sort of an adrenaline rush on the end of it,
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I've done.
I did the
this,
thing.
you know.
Yeah.
I've
bounced
done
back so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Because when we were standing there around that, between 9 and 9:30, when Jimmy was doing the announcements and blah blah, everyone's getting their patches and all that, dude, I was that jacked up. I seriously was like, okay, screw it, I'm gonna go to 1 Up. What time they open? Like I was on a weird
Jeez.
third wind. I was just
Shit, man,
buzzing.
I wish you had said the same thing to me, because I would be like, let's do the thing. I would have been so keen.
Yeah, we would have got as far as 1 Up's door and gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what happened. I got home roughly half an hour later. I hit the bed and I was like, "No, done." Oh, doing my thing where I'm on my phone in the bed and no,
Yep.
I was out.
No. Yep.
And roughly, so that would have been around the 11:30, something like that. Then it got to about 5 to 5:30 p.m. that day, and that's when Kirsty and the kids got home. And basically Kirsty came in and woke me up and said, "Oi, wake up." She's like, if you're going to be like this after you do these 24-hour things, you're not going to do them anymore. So I was like, oh God.
You need to
been awake for
get
24
in
straight
touch.
hours.
John, all jokes aside, man, you need to get in touch with a lawyer, get divorced. And,
Hey, I'm just wondering. I did miss the presentation. Did you guys know who won the pinball Death by Arcade? Who got the Death
Lambo,
by
of
Pinball?
course.
Sorry?
Probably Lambo. Yeah.
Lambo.
He got the
killed it.
doll.
Yeah,
right.
So
the
that
Kindy
was
doll that
actually
no one
that
wanted, yeah.
trophy was made for the 2019 one or
Oh.
the 2021, whatever the COVID one got fucked up. Like that was made.
So that was
So
2020.
I don't know if you remember this, Mike, but the guy who made that trophy actually came
James
in.
Straker. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember his name, but he actually made that trophy, and
That's
it's been
right.
like no joke. It's been sitting at Netherworld since.
What
Wow.
up, Straker? G'day.
Oh
Yeah.
no, God! I just remembered I had a flashback. There's one point where
Excellent.
Tannahill was making that little doll dance to the music that Ben Reeves was playing.
Oh my God.
Of course he was.
I was like at the end of the arcade room, I looked across, I see Tannahill and he's like jiggling the arms and the legs up and down. I just started losing it laughing.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Well,
That's awesome.
well, John and I had a mini dance session in there at some point as
Yeah,
well.
man. Yeah, absolutely. I remember, seeing Dennis and he's rocking that red flannel and getting some jiggy moves on, and I was loving it. I was right there with him, feeling with Ben in the other room playing those on the DJ, rocking the beats, and we were getting into it.
So were we.
Yeah.
It was. I actually saw you two dancing. I thought it was really cute until like John started grinding Dennis's leg. And
Yeah.
I just
We
thought
had to shut it down.
Yeah.
Well, I remember
Shut it down.
the two going into the toilets and making love, or was that?
Oh God Almighty!
That was the other John.
Oh, it was the other one.
Probably.
Oh my
But
God.
We
yeah,
can say
it
that.
was-
We can say that because you didn't come back. So
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
We can talk about him behind his
nuts
back.
to
yeah.
you. Nah.
But
Just kidding.
it's interesting because I think the last event was what was it called? You don't sleep. You don't die without permission. Which is a kind of, it was a bit of a play on words from what's the name of the movie?
Wasn't it Platoon or something?
No, it's one very Full Metal
Full Metal
Jacket. One
Jacket.
very, I was
Full
about to
Metal
say,
Jacket.
but,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
Marines
That's right.
do not die without permission.
Yep.
And that was the Final Frenzy, which again, and I think it was, I want to say it was Mike who came up with this. Was like, oh, at the very end we should have an absolute, balls to the wall, just like go.
Yeah.
And go for it. And we had with Donkey Kong, Frogger, Gyrus, Ice Cold Beer, Moon Patrol, Miss Pac-Man, Puzzle Bobble, Tapper, and Tron. And it was really interesting because I think Sam throughout the event kept, he was not bombing out, but he was getting games he wasn't familiar with. And one of the games, it was up against me at Miss Pac-Man, and he had beaten me in every single game for that entire thing. And then Miss Pac-Man happened. I was like, mate, let's go. I'm gonna win this. So it was pretty fun, but it was really cool. I think if I have a look at the overview, so John, obviously, because John Tannahill, that is, won that. Mike, I think you came second, and it was really, really awesome to see Peter High. He came third.
Well done, Peter.
Congrats, Pete.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it was really, really good. And I think that like you were saying earlier on, John, that the 3-minute frenzy right at the end was really, really good fun, and it kind of pushed people through.
It was a good pace.
Yeah.
It was a good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Being only 3 minutes, I think, was a real benefit at that time.
No, I really agree with that. In the sense that we tried, I think, our best to sort of say, okay, when will events be good? When will they be better suited? And
like when do people have the energy? When are they awake most?
exactly. And I think throughout this conversation that we've had, I've talked about how we wanted it to replicate. Later on in the session, at least, we wanted it to replicate. Sitting down with buddies of an evening having games.
Yeah.
But then at points in the game at points in the evening, you want it to be like, come on, let's go. And I think moving forward for the next event, at least, and maybe this might tie into maybe if Dennis and Mike and Neil are obviously okay with it, we'll talk about what it will look like moving forward. So
maybe just not tonight. Yeah,
just not tonight. Yeah, nah, fair enough. But
I'm all for having even just online chats, Aaron. I'm keen to talk more about it. Let's rattle off some ideas and
we've got the format. There's a couple of formats we've changed and tweaked. We're so keen to do obviously frenzies because they just work well. But the relay, we're very, very keen to do again.
Relay was really awesome. The 3-minute frenzy, especially at that time in the morning, is really good. Head to head, man.
No, and we're gonna do that again. And I might try and chat with Jimmy and or Ben, and see if we can get another couple of 2-player games in where you can actually play side by side
at the same time, head to head, straight up. Yeah,
I would love. I don't know if you all know this game, but do you know Punch Out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's a really old boxing game, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've never played it, but
on the arcade.
Mm.
Maybe I'm thinking it is a boxing game, but it literally you have gloves that you sort of like they're joysticks, but they're sort of shaped a little bit like gloves. And you got to do the thing.
Right.
I would really, really like to get something like that or something similar where
Wii boxing would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, man.
That game, the game Aaron's talking about is what Wii boxing is based off, basically.
Oh, right.
You have 2 gloves. You hold back to block, and you throw one forward to throw a right hook, you throw this one forward, but it's like how the Wii controls work.
Oh, right. Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
I'm literally having a look. No, I think Knockout was the one on the NES.
It's definitely not Punch Out. Punch Out was on NES as well.
Sorry,
but it's a version of Punch Out for the arcade where you had 2. And it's a side by side. You have I think the red gloves and the green gloves.
Title fight.
Oh, right.
I think is what it's called. Yeah. I'm just having a. Oh no, maybe not title. Yeah, no, title fight. And so if you want, Dennis, I'll send you through an image and you can chuck it up. But it's almost 2 screens, and you have a blue player and a red player, and they have almost like boxing gloves, and they'd fight against one another. And I think something like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
even as Mike said, man, say at the last one, we did the Mario Kart on the Wii. That's the only thing we played on the Wii.
Yeah. So there was, I think V asked about doing Wii Sports or something.
Yeah, Wii Sports.
You know what? I quite just because I used to work so all throughout university I worked in a bowling alley, and it was the best job. Well, not the best job, but a really, really cool job, and I had a lot of fun. I would love to do because we were supposed to do a bowling game on the Atari, but I couldn't find the power supply for the
Dude,
flash
Wii
game.
bowling all the way.
But Wii bowling,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, there's you know a $30 voucher or something like that for the person who gets a 300-point game or something would be pretty cool.
I think bowling's
Rad.
nice. I think the archery is cool
Oh yeah.
on the Wii.
No,
Archery's fun.
we should look into it a bit more.
There's a lot of ideas. I mean,
would
when you
like consoles to play a little bit more of a role, next year.
Yeah.
we
But
could
I don't know what that
Sounds
would
good.
look like in a sense.
Yeah.
Likewise,
Right.
So yeah,
gentlemen, fantastic talking to you all.
we'll wrap it up there. Thank you for your
Yes.
time, everybody, and thanks for joining us on another episode of Play It Up Podcast. It's
Before
been,
we go, Dennis, when do I get paid?
you speak to Sean about that. Sean will
I love
pay
you
you in
all.
euro.
Guys, sleep
Quick
well.
reply.
Thanks for having us all. And again, the podcast you all do is just freaking awesome. So please keep it up.
Oh, thanks, man.
All right, love you all. See you.
Okay.
Right,
Thanks,
catch you
guys.
next,
Cheers for
fellas.
coming on.
Have a great one. Talk soon.